Hello and welcome to day 4 of the World Championships 2024. I am Box Kimchi. This is the Kimchi Cast. It is 9 Celsius out. It is 9 degrees Celsius out. So it is very cold inside the house right now. And all my hoodies are outside hoodies. And the one I wear normally it fell on the floor and it needs to be washed. I'm sad. So we got a blanket today, but shouldn't change much. It's cold, but these players are hopefully going to play real hot League of Legends as it's the last day of best of ones. It is the final 5 best of ones at the World Championships. 4, not even 5, final 4. And then we have 3, 4 days, no, 5 more days of best of threes. Oh, that's gonna be so hype to get that out. But to get to the best of threes, we gotta determine who will be 2 and 1, who will be 1 and 2. And then we could start knocking some teams out and putting some teams into the knockout stage. And it starts with a rematch. Top Esports Fnatic kick off the day. I'm glad that they can look back on this and joke, or look back on 2020's reverse sweep of Fnatic and joke. And by that I mean Shox is able to joke about it still. But for Fnatic, this is personal. They beat them at MSI, I believe. A 2-0 in the play-in stage for Fnatic. So, or no. Yeah, it was a 2-1 for Top Esports. I read the wrong match. I'm sorry. No, it was a 2-1, so the revenge has not been achieved. Top Esports really haven't balled out. They faced Rogue at 2022's group stage instead. As that's young. Okay, they showed that too early, but this could be a Yone insta-lock. It would not be surprising. Yone is just one of the best champions, one of the safest champions you can lock in right now. And that is a double insta-lock, actually, for Fnatic. Smolder and Skarner going to be their options here. That's likely humanoids. Smolder coming through. Heard a lot of, or not a lot, but we're hearing players talk about Smolder now and how they just don't like playing it. It's so nice to hear not just one of the best players in the world, but maybe the best mid laner right now, Chovy, just say, I don't like this champion. Speaking of Chovy, yesterday, Gen G punched their ticket to the knockout stage alongside LNG, and you didn't see any of it, from me at least. I got home at like 10 o'clock, and I was really tired. I did the LNG series live, and I was tired otherwise. So that's why there's nothing for yesterday, and it's gonna stay that way because I'm goddamn tired. Rumble and Sedge going to be the lock-ins to round out the first half of Top Esports' draft, and that's a pretty good start. Fnatic have a decent start, but that's just because they've drafted 2 of the best tanks in the meta. Top Esports, they've already started putting some team fight plans into action with the Sejuani Rumble. Can pair well with or can follow up well for Yone's Fate Sealed. And so they're just really strong. They're going to take away Ashe, a champ that definitely would have just made this even more difficult for Fnatic to survive. Kaisa taken away from Noah, one of his better ADC lock-ins he could have gone. And best of one, the loser of this match faces elimination. The winner of this match will have 2 shots to advance. This is really all it can. This can make or break your tournament. Because just having that extra mistake at your disposal always is going to be better than trying to have to claw back to being required to win back-to-back best of threes. You have to go in the 3-2, and the 3-2 pool only will have 3 teams, I believe. That's Jin going to be the lock-in after 4 ADC bans. Holy cow. The Palmo, that would be good, actually, yeah. Why'd they ban Zyra? I don't think Tiana's shown Zyra all tournament. Misfortune would be good follow-up. I don't think they have enough multi It's multi-man lockdown. Yeah, Tiana's not shown Zyra. I don't know why they banned it. Okay. If they can get a Rel here, then I can go with that. Leona, I know why. It's the iconic combo, but Rel is just so much better. There's just no reason not to go it, especially with a player like Mako, who's just so damn good. This is a really good comp from Top Esports. They have the front line they need to allow their misfortune to go off. And they have just really powerful combos. They have super ultimates on their side to just pull through this game, drag any team fight back pretty much. And Leona going to be the lock-in for Jun here, and this is very single target oriented draft for Fnatic. They don't really have a team fight angle. They do have Smolder though. No AP, which means Mako and Tiana are going to be really powerful to just build or build armor, build anti-ADC nonsense. Randuins will be strong this game, to say the least. And Fnatic, wow, this is this. Oh, I gotta fix something. This draft is interesting from Fnatic. I don't love it. I don't really like it. If they can get the picks they want with this, then maybe it will work, but that is an iffy draft there. Not a big fan. I'm not really feeling it. But they're gonna have to commit to it now if they want to get their revenge. Because they have lost their last 2 meetings with Top Esports. They don't want a third one to fall to the wayside, especially in a moment that is in a game as important as this one. It's not as important as their first meeting in 2020, but it is still important. This can completely, again, redirect your fate in this tournament. 2 shots to advance versus needing to win 2 games in a row is just hard. That is really difficult to do. And I don't think any team, no, there definitely was, mathematically had to be a team, right? Oh, no team that went 1 and no, Weibo Gaming went 1 and 2, so it's not impossible. But Weibo Gaming also got a really favorable draw against the Mad Lions and Fnatic, 2 teams that they know they could beat any day of the week. Last year, not this year. Could happen this year, but it won't. Now, I didn't get this. Didn't obviously you didn't see my talk about lane swamps yesterday because I didn't post it because I was not finishing that series. It was another 2 hours. Yeah, screw that. But teams who have been initiating the lane swamp have been struggling to execute on them properly, and it's been very frustrating to watch. Watching Genji initiate a lane swap and then just lose for most of the game, that was really, really bad. Or was it Damwon who did it? It was so frustrating. It was Genji. It was game 1 Genji. They initiate the lane swamp and it just falls apart. And that is kind of, they just are behind. They put themselves behind with the lane swap rather than ahead. But this could be them getting ahead as they're going to force the flash out of 369 right there. Razork has a lot of 369 has a lot of damage back, but not going to matter as the jungle is up here to support. This is a Cassante in the bot lane. It's really difficult to dive him as well, as there's no support coming, and it's still not going to really matter. It's still a Cassante. You got to be careful here as Mako not going to connect the stun. And Tian's going to be the first one to take damage here. And they need Mako to land his CC, and it's not going to connect. Do they have the damage? No, they get the flash out of Oscar, but he's going to live. And 2 consecutive misses from Top Esports. And the dive falls apart, and that is Fnatic objectively winning that lane swap. As we're going to return to normal lanes. They get a partial advantage for their top lane here. And a pretty slight advantage for the ADC. And all they need to burn is a flash. I don't know what the hell happened in mid. We weren't paying attention to it. I'm assuming Cream just had a really good fight. But that is a well-executed lane swap. Look at the CS differences. Fnatic can't punish. They don't give up first blood, because if they gave up first blood, lane swap's immediately over. Like, the lane swap just is an abject failure from that point. Because, oh, please don't tell me that can dropped. But there's just no coming back from that. There's no saying you justify the lane swap. Good start to the game for Fnatic. I'm just going to have to see how it maintains. We've seen this from Fnatic, but we've seen this from every team pretty much. We've seen this from every Western team at the tournament. It was Fnatic versus Damwon. It was Team Liquid versus Weibo, and Team Liquid versus LNG. FlyQuest versus Damwon. Every Western team has had these winnable games where they just fall apart. Mad Lions, BLG, and PSG. Mad Lions have not had a winning state since super early game against BLG, and even then that was not very convincing. It's fun though, as Razork going to get the stun onto Tian, but there's no follow from Humanoid just yet. Jun is up here. It is time to start fighting over the grubs. And it's going to go in Fnatic's favor in the mid lane specifically. They have this mid lane in a winning position. That is the ulti burned from Humanoid to try and push out this wave. As Oscar going to be able to all out 369, and 369 is going to fall to the Cassante. And that is first blood for Oscar Renan, and that is a position that Fnatic would love to maintain. Jackie going to overstay here. He has the flash, he has the cleanse. Cleanse is early, but he's going to be able to get out with a good flash over the wall. Both summoners burned. They will lose the grubs because of the play onto 369. They had to commit Razork there. So that allows Tian and Mako the opportunity to move into the pit and grab the first 3 grubs. Fnatic should be able to grab the second, or no. Oh, sorry. Fnatic should be able to grab Constellation Dragon as Jackie forced to reset, put to 0 health. Maybe Top Esports fight it. We haven't seen a ton of teams get grubs and Drake. It was pretty much just because Razork was clearing out his top side. Razork would have probably gotten Dragon had he not had to be topside to maintain his tempo. I get this beat. But yeah, here's the push from Humanoid. Oh, they're actually gonna base Humanoid here. In a bit, so yeah, I probably should buy items. That would be a smart idea. It's a singular longsword. Jackie. It's a dodge. And he's holding these shots. He was waiting for Jun. But now, Razor getting the lockdown onto Mako, but the combo not going to connect. And that's the stuns going in favor of Top Esports with the bullet time on top of it. And Fnatic, the root doesn't connect, and that allows Mako to hit a crash down. And that is all that Top Esports need to turn the fight on Fnatic. That stun, that root from, I mean, yeah, Deadly Flourish from Noah was the win point there. If that hits, Top Esports will probably not get anything. I don't know if they wouldn't. That is a narrow jump over the wall from Tian, but this comes from the stun connects, and he thinks he's gonna hold him along the wall, but he's not. And then that just gives Tian time, unleashes the ulti, crash down comes through. Jun will be able to survive with the W at least, but the bullet time combo is what Top Esports are playing around. That is their team fight angle here, and it is very strong. They can do so much with that, actually. It is dangerous to stare down a team fight with Top Esports is so hard. You give a region known for its team fights, give one of its best teams a team to team fight. Things can go wrong. Should be this plating going over. Oh, it's one health. As 369 gonna get stunned by Razork. There's no one nearby just yet. Humanoid's working on it. 369 is flash if he needs it. The Impale not gonna connect. Get the flash out of 369 though. How to catch up, and now the dive available. They need to hit this onto Noah. Here comes the teleport from Oscar. And the teleport from Cream. Jackie is gonna die here. There's no doubt about it. Did I say Cream? I meant Humanoid. I wish it was Cream, because that would actually be really helpful here. But Cream is busy fighting Razork. Tian rotating down to Oscar's caught out. Gonna buffer pretty well here. There's the all-out, dragging Tian to the turret, but forcing the flash out. There's the flash Q3 from Oscar with the Magnet Storm to crash down into Cream, sealing the fate of Oscar, and it means they get the kill back. Top Esports are going to go 1-for-1 once again in the extended trades. And 369 is just going to shred the turret. Grubs will be in the hands of Top Esports, and that is not going to cost them the bot turret, though. But they get Jackie, and they don't do anything. They got this. Could have went for the grubs, but they just didn't have an angle for it, really. They could have tried to go for grubs. Not that they could have. It's really, really difficult. Cream gonna get one plating down here. 369 gonna just be bullied. Oh, sorry. 369 getting dove right now. And he's gonna get stunned. I think 369 is just gonna fall. The stun connects for Tian. Mako going to land the crash down. Here comes Cream. And I think Fnatic have overdone it. Maybe a little bit. Humanoid going to be able to pick up this kill here. Possibly. He just needs an auto, but he's not going to get it. The stun into the bullet time. They don't want to take any risks. It's Cream picking up Razork. It is Jackie Love picking up his first kill of the game. And Fnatic are trying. They are looking for plays, but they are not landing any of them. They really want these plays to go through, and it's not happening for them yet. They get this onto Razork, they just leave after this. They don't. So that gives Mako time to just land this combo. Humanoid can't do any damage during that because he gets stunned for a little bit. And then stun, airborne, stun, bullet time. Humanoid just doesn't have time to land that last auto attack, and that is very frustrating. But it's just another thing going the way of Top Esports. Another thing that Fnatic are just not handling well. They are trying to make these plays, and it's just not connecting. Oscar has the Rooker, but that is only good for lane. It will be good because 369 is going to do a lot of damage later on, but it is a laning item at this point. For a lane that is mostly long over. Jackie Love gonna get stunned. Perfect cleanse. Perfect flash. Mako going to lose the trade to Razork to the surprise of nobody. Tian is gonna be able to disengage. Do Fnatic at least get the Drake? But that is Cream getting first tower. Now Cream actually rotating up means Fnatic need to be careful. There we go. I said it weird. I wanted to re-say the name. Thought I said it poorly. As Tian just disengaging. And Top Esports don't want to take any chances. They got the first Drake. They're just going to split them. They are fine. Oh, Root Connect's not going to matter, really. Top Esports quickly able to push out this mid lane. And they are going to just try and grab this Rift Herald. I don't know if Razork wants to fight it. Fnatic aren't really in a strong position to fight quite at all. As Cream going to land some good damage onto Razork. Has the Bork. He is shredding the Fnatic jungler to pieces. It is going to be the Rift Herald for Top Esports. It is Oscar having to completely back off as Top Esports were also threatening just running him down. Humanoid will get the turret in the bot lane in exchange. Something, but it's currently almost 2,000 gold ahead for TES. It is a dangerous. It's a scary enemy mid laner, actually. As, ooh, good buffer there by Cream. Oscar wanted it. Fate Sealed gets canceled! And now Razork has locked down Cream. The all out. There is nowhere for you to go. Yone and Oscar going to pick up a second kill. A big shutdown. And they get 2 cancels there. He could have opened with Flash. The pickup for Skarner is a suppress. So if you get hit by it, it will cancel most movement abilities. What it does and doesn't override is subjective. 369 getting locked down right now. As there's the stun coming through. The teleport from Oscar means there is no chance. Razor going to pick up that one. At 369's rolling a 3. Not only in his death count, but just in this game. Turret will fall in mid at least for Top Esports. And top lane, so that is 600 gold. So it's a 300 gold advantage on that play. Even though it should have been a really solid play for Fnatic, Top Esports answer really nicely as they're trying to lock down Oscar Vinnen right now. That is half health. He does not do anything. He can't survive Cream's onslaught of damage. Humanoid forcing out the flash, or Jun forcing out the flash of Cream. As there's the turn onto Jun. Noah's here, but here comes the teleport from 369 as the bullet time is connecting, and call it the Matrix because he's found one, and the fight is going to keep falling in Top's favor. Jun will be next. Jackie's on a killing spree. And it is falling apart for Fnatic. Another game where they've played close and they can't find a win. They are trying so hard to find the fights. find a play that they like, and none of it's happening. They're chasing so far. Jun going to be able to jump in, but he has nothing left. And that's going to allow the Magnet Storm to crash down to connect. Cream going to follow it up. 369 throws the ulti on top. It's kind of a bad ulti. Doesn't really hit anyone, but it's not even going to matter at this point because it's already a 3 for nothing. Top Esports are bodying Fnatic right now so hard. This is a 2-item misfortune, which is kind of scary because one of those items is Bloodthirster, unnerfed Bloodthirster. This Jhin hasn't been able to become a factor. Scream can lock down a bunch of damage onto Humanoid, keep his turret alive, most importantly. But your lead is still on Oscar. Cassante. Smolder's doing nothing. Jhin hasn't had a chance to become. I mean, I guess it's Smolder hasn't had a chance to become Unleashed. Jhin hasn't had a chance to become Unleashed. Jun's not going to be able to carry. He can hit some. He's hit some nice engages, but he can't carry a game. The team isn't playing around him like they play around Alvaro. Razork can't carry. He's playing Skarner right now. It is just so hard to figure out what Fnatic want because they'll go for picks and then they'll forget to play for objectives. And now they're just behind. As second Drake for Top Esports, it will be 29 minutes old. That is a pretty late Drake Soul. Jun gonna take a little bit of damage. Cream just gonna try and chunk as much as he can. He has the Bork. He has the Stridebreaker. He is a threat. Just the gold leads are huge. 2,000 in mid and bot lane. It is so hard for Fnatic to find fights. Humanoid just gonna survive. He was getting pieced out. Pieced up by Cream. That's the correct way to phrase it. That is just the power of the Yone. He's able to chunk whoever he wants, whenever he wants. It is so hard for them to contain Cream now because even with triple tanks, they're all going to get shredded. Bork plus true damage. Really, really tough to play around. There's the jump in onto Razork. The root connects. Razork going to dodge away from the Fate Seal. It's going to go onto Jun, but the bullet time still going to connect. Cream going to need to jump away. Will be able to survive. Mako's tanking it up with Tian. And that means that Cream going to survive on a sliver of health. This mid tier 2 falls. And Top Esports can go for the Baron if they want. They have so much damage on their side. They have Jackie, they have Cream, they are fed, and this Baron does not stand a chance. Fnatic currently do not stand a chance. As 369 going to be able to teleport out. This Baron not going to cancel like a griefer. Smite, and that means teleport for teleport on Humanoid and 369. It is a 6,000 gold lead for Top Esports in this game. And Top weren't even here last year. They want to advance as the jump in is huge here. So much free damage. They land so much CC. Good ulti there by 369, actually. That ult, the reason they're able to kill with the bullet time and don't need to chase down Razork. Top Esports, it's their first Swiss stage. They missed out of Worlds 2023. And their 2022 came to an end when they lost to GAM. Yeah, they lost to GAM in a Swiss stage upset. That one would end up costing them their tournament run as Cream is locking down everyone. I thought it was just going to be generic chunking of the Skarner, but no, it was... He wanted kills. He wanted to finish the job. Holy cow. As Humanoid going to be the next one, and that's going to be a kill. Mom can't save you now. That is Brutal Cream flashing. Gonna get tagged by one. And the cancel comes through from Mako. That means the ulti's over. And that means there's survival for Cream as the bullet time rains down. Razork will fall to 369. Overheating. And the first inhib will fall. Will there be follow-up? Is Top just gonna call it? Are they gonna go and end the game? And they think they've got it. Nexus turn number 2 will fall. The engages are there for Top Esports. They need to end before Humanoid can kind of just shred them to pieces. And that is a big chunk there. They don't have a wave right now. Fnatic are holding for the time being. Oscar, and he's gone. And that is actually it. On to the Nexus for Top Esports. 369 gonna finish the job, and it is 2-1 for Top. It is 1-2 for Fnatic, and we're on the verge of seeing the European representatives, their second seed, go home. We'll have to see where they land in the draw and land. Oh, well, there's no draw just yet, but we'll have to see where they land in the draw and where they land in, more importantly, I guess it is, who they face. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that one, actually. But Top Esports, 2-1. And that is so good for them. I saw something. Sorry, I thought I saw something. But Top position themselves 2 shots to advance to the knockout stage. D plus Kia, Hanwha Life Esports await them for now. Of course, 2 more, or not 2 more teams. Yeah, 3 more teams will join them up in that stage for the second wave of safety. Fnatic just don't know. They early slight advantages disappear, and they just can't team fight. They cannot team fight. They cannot out macro Top Esports, and it's gonna put their Worlds run in jeopardy. Fnatic were here before. They did this last year. They went 1-2, and they won their next game and lost their qualifier. We'll have to see if that is the case once again. We've seen these teams go. We've seen teams go 1-1-1-1-1, like win loss win loss win loss, and Fnatic might just be repeating that. It's all gonna come down to the matchup, of course, and how they play on the day. But that is game number 1 in the books for. Yeah, that is just game number 1 in the books. Up next, a rematch from last year, I believe. Or, semis? Yes. No. Oh, wow. It's a rematch of the Swiss stage. As, actually, this is okay, I thought it was a playoffs rematch. It wasn't. The rematch didn't get to come through as Billy Gaming were knocked out in game 5 of the semi-finals. And so T1 had a really easy final, but they faced. Okay, they really awkward. They faced off to end T1's Swiss stage as T1 took the 2-0 over BLG clean. And then I think at Worlds they got their lick back this year. But it is time to find out, will Faker and company, the reigning world champs, will they go 2-1, or will Billy Gaming get revenge for last year's Swiss stage and send the world champs to the elimination matches? I'll see you for BLG T1 game number 2 of the day. And it is time for game number 2. BLG T1, the reigning world champs, take on the not anymore reigning MSI champions, as they've been replaced by Gen G. Still reigning MSI finalists, so not like it's completely over for BLG or something, as they are still the best in China by a landslide, it seemed, entering the tournament. But now they've run into a brick wall, a surprise brick wall in the form of LNG, who didn't only just curb stomp the late game against Billy Gaming, but then went on to obliterate Damwon Kia to send themselves to the knockout stage. The first team to make the knockouts. It wasn't BLG, it was LNG, the third seed from China, as the other two LPL representatives are currently sitting in the 1-1 pool. One of them just escaped. Will BLG join them in kind? I mean, the expectation for Billy Gaming is that they win. They're contending for a world's title. This is supposed to be the year, because they're not going to get to do this many more times. This roster was supposed to be an improvement over the 2023 roster, and they ran into the brick wall known as Gen G in the MSI finals, and they ran into their own regional opponent who, yes, probably could have beat them had they actually faced off in the LPL playoffs, but that's how it just is sometimes. Like, LNG did not need to play against BLG in the playoffs. That's because LNG lost 6 of their first, 6 of their first 8 games, but they were still the second seed coming in to LPL playoffs, and they had beaten Billy earlier. Yes, it was not with Wei, but they still had beaten Billy earlier in the season, so the expectations were there, and they faltered. They faltered down the stretch and in the clutch, but they showed up in the clutch, and that is why BLG's here. So and BLG look like the better team as well. I haven't talked about T1 here, but they don't really look like, they've not been in the form. Even their MSI form, they haven't been in it. It has been a rough summer season for the reigning world champions. And Yone's taken it. Thank God. But this team has been really streaky. They had a mostly good first rotation. They lost somehow one game to a winless team. Can't remember who it was, but friend is a T1 fan. He was just like, we were doing so well, and then we lost to this bum ass team, and we just fell off a cliff. And that is T1. Like, they'll win, they'll lose random ass games, fall into a losing streak, win some games to pull it back, and then just they entered the playoffs in poor shape. They fell very quickly in the playoffs. I mean, not even very quickly. They still made top 3, but they barely did they sweep Damwon? I've been checking so many times and I still can't remember it. But that is, well, take a guess what champ is locked in for night 51 and 9 for a reason. Yeah, 3-1ing Damwon and then getting killed and losing so many. They've lost so many of their last few games. Will be Gnar, Vi locked in for the top jungle at T1. Wei will be on the Skarner, and gonna be Jackson to Gnar again. It will be Bin facing down Zeus's Gnar on Jax, and that is Faker on the Sylas. We've been hoping to see more of it. Sylas is 2-0 right now, but we were hoping to see more Sylas at this tournament. It's been a champ. It was a champ we were hoping to see. Obviously, it kind of was rising in the meta. There was hope there was hopium that we were going to get a Kaisa taken away now from BLG. But the thing I haven't really considered, actually, is the strength of schedule coming in. Just what are the reps these teams have had entering this game? T1 lost a close one with Top Esports, and they came back by beating Pain Gaming, a more of a confidence game than anything. Meanwhile, Billy Gaming, they started the tournament by, of course, winning. It was against, where the hell are they? It was against the Mad Lions, where they kind of get to dominate, and then they had a humbling loss through team fights to LNG. And I just think Billy have had the better tournament, despite how it was win into loss. They just had the better opponents. But you play who you face. Obviously, T1 couldn't control it, and I'm sure they weren't really like complaining that they got the easiest opponent in second stage. Gumayushi gonna be on the Callista. What is the response from BLG? We've seen On play this Poppy before, and he will do it again, it seems. They want to shut down this bot lane, and this is actually a really good op just to pick up a Poppy anyways. The thing is, if they draft the Jinier, BLG don't really have a team fight. We saw this issue with no real big engage on the side of Fnatic. They didn't really have a big engage plan besides Skarner, and their play fell apart. Carrier, don't lock that in. I know you really want to. I know you like playing really off-meta picks sometimes, or just creating a new meta because you are so good you could just do that, but don't do this. Again, I knew it'd be fun, but no. Your world's run is in the balance. Now is not the time to mess around, of course. Obviously, T1 aren't trying to mess around. That Pyke pick probably could have worked. But it's going to be Nico for Carrier. And they drafted in order. That is very... Usually you don't draft in order, but it was very silly to see it. It wasn't intentional, of course, but it just happened. But Nico and Callista, a combo we've seen twice now. It has worked once. It's good. It's just you got to execute on it, and the team that loves running it, Pain Gaming, they are just not able to execute on it. They played, T1 faced it, and now T1 are taking it. So it's a bit of a passing of the torch, but Pain Gaming won with this in the play-in stage against Vikings Esports. Yes, Vikings Esports, not Viking Esports. That would make too much sense. And then they took it out yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever it was against T1 in the 0-1 pool. And they got first blood. It was a pretty fun game, but mostly a roll for T1, obviously. It would have been one of the largest wins in Brazil's history. But sadly, didn't happen. And the fans are out in force. You have to, we'll get there in a second. But T1 taking the torch of the Nico Callista. They are assembling a draft comp, a collection of comps to play, hopefully. But the best part about this, these are two of the more popular teams from the region. BLG have just brute forced their way to being popular after years of not being popular. And T1, of course, are T1. So these are probably going to be two of the loudest crowds of the entire tournament, as these are the teams fans are traveling to see, pretty much. Which is crazy, because this is an LCK 4 seed. Yeah, the most famous team in League of Legends is a 4 seed. Because they could not win down the stretch. And it's been a rough time. Been a rough few everything. Just forcing the flash out. Carrier dies there otherwise. Oh, we can't see the ping. We have no clue who they pinged the flash for. Okay, we'll see how that goes. This could be interesting. If they think Faker doesn't have flash, this could result in some very interesting disaster places. It's going to be an invade and a lane swap for Billy Gaming. They're going to spot him out. Zeus going to this bot lane here. Area coming up to swap, actually. As Area, the actual flashless one, going to be here helping out his mid laner just like On is right now. And it is just a matter of trying to get Silas into a better position because this lane's going to be a little bit rough. As you can see, Silas does not win the early laning phase. In fact, there's a grasp on the Ahri to make sure that he does not have a chance of winning the early laning phase. And I want to see how this damage goes, because that is the thing that we need. I want to see from these teams pulling lane swaps. I need to see them start shredding turrets. The thing is, because Zeus is already bot side, Bin has, Bin. I have to remember the names. I was like, hold on, that's not right. I just thought I was watching a different team, I guess. But Bin has to kind of answer this play, which means that it's Jhin sieging turrets. And Jhin is, if you know anything, not very fast at sieges. And T1 not going to go for the dive. They know better. Just have to respect it because Zeus could just teleport topside to end that play. And Jhin does not have any siege damage. And so T1 actually going to put themselves in a really strong advantage just playing the lane straight up. And that is the good thing we've been seeing from teams more recently into these lane swaps. The team that is getting swapped on, they are just playing smarter. If they can't go, I mean, we did not see it from Top Esports earlier. They forced that. They brute forced it so hard. But if the team can't win the fight, if they can't successfully dive, they just go for the turret plates. And that is 2 turret plates in the bot lane. Yeah. T1 have not been able to take down Billy Gaming quite yet. So, will they be able to continue the trend here? As since that loss, they have not really been worried about T1. Was it this year? Yeah, both of them 3-1, 3-2. Oh, it has been a bad time to beat T1. They have not beaten BLG in a best of. This is just 2024. They were just counting 2024. Going back to 2023, it is 0-3 for T1. They lost 3-1 in the lower bracket finals of MSI last year as well. And they didn't face at Worlds, obviously. And I don't think BLG have made many internationals before that. Put it that way. That's putting it the nice way. BLG have not made many internationals. As the dive onto the clone. That's not good. Yeah. That is actually really good. BLG getting aggressive. A slight miscalculation. They didn't expect the clone. It's kind of crazy that BLG are doing this. They went from 0 international tournaments in what? 4 years? Or 6 years. As On getting locked down right now, actually. Can they get the cleanse? Can they get the damage now? Is the question, but Elk gonna just flash away. And that is the threat. T1 are still very good. It's just they've been out of form. They are a very streaky team this year. And there was a reason they just kind of rolled over everybody at the World Championships last year. Only BLG really being a threat for them, and they beat them in a best of 3 and never had to go back to facing them. Guma's demolished. That's interesting, actually. And Grubs for T1 as well. It will be 2 as Knight and Way are here. Zeus doesn't really have anything to threaten. Can't burn down. He can't build up the Narbar fast enough, and it's not worth risking it. And we're gonna just have a calm 800 CS or 800 gold lead for T1 right now, as it is just farming for Faker. You need to be careful with on here, but should be pretty safe. Otherwise, back to the thing I was gonna just say. 2017, the BLG formed, and for 5 years they were not good. And then 2023, sign a mega roster, and suddenly you win the LPL for the first time. You go to your first international event, or well, no, you don't. You make MSI through the finals. You make your first LPL finals, go to MSI, go to the grand finals, beat the greatest team of all time in your first international event, go to Worlds again as the 2 seed, make semifinals your first year, get bounced by Weibo Gaming of all teams, a team you never worried about, and then they win the LPL 2 times to start. I mean, for 2024, first 2 LPL championships. It's gotta be huge. As On getting the jump. As Way going to lock down Owner. And it's first blood tonight. And now the curtains have been called. Faker trying to just get this kill. He doesn't have any more stacks. There it is. Way falls. Faker has no mana though. And he's trying to run, but Bin is collapsing on him. Elk will pick up the kill onto Faker. It is a 2-for-1. Oh, 2-for-2. That's right. On died. Is a 2-for-2. They go even. And oh, they're not gonna be able to siege this for very long. They have to just give this over. They have to back off. Owner started that play, or not even started that play, because technically that play started with On getting obliterated, but or getting the engage and dying for it. Owner should be able to grab this though on the respawn, and we're gonna get our dragon down. Early objectives have been T1 sided, and On is all alone. Look where he is. They get Owner. That's what's important. They get Owner first. So that's the 400 gold going in their favor. And then, yeah, he's all alone. They'll land another shot, but that's all they can get. Nice chain lash from Faker, but he's out of mana, which means he can't turn on to Knight here and heal at all. He almost gets Knight without it, but doesn't have time to use a second. He doesn't have time to use a second passive, which means doesn't have time to pick up a second kill. Still 400, only a 400 gold advantage for T1, actually. That's not that long. That is very short. So what's the angle for both of these teams? Because for BLG, it's more picks. Catching T1 out of position, catching Carrier, Owner in rotation, trying to go somewhere like they did as they just forced the heal out of Carrier with the threat of Waze, engage. And that is more of what BLG want. For T1, it is team fights majority of the time. They have a Callista, they have a Nico, and a Gnar. They want a team fight. They have the pick potential, but team fights are where T1 are going to thrive. That's pretty much where they've always thrived. T1 are best as a 5-man unit, and that has not changed over the past year. Quality of the performances may have changed, but the way they win has not. Now, BLG need to take all these grubs, which is going to be really difficult with all of T1 hovering and Zeus building up his Narbar. Was already won, and are they going to choose to go over this? They're going to just give it over. They're just going to say, it's fine. It's only 4 grubs. It's 1 might per person spawning, as they're just going to give Zeus another plate in the bot lane. I don't think he's going to be able to finish this turret. Bin is here now, which means if he keeps autoing this turret, he will die. And now they thought they found an angle. Is it true? The impale goes onto way. The curtains are open. T1 need to be very careful here. On doesn't have the lockdown. Faker going to tank the fourth shot, and it's not going to be enough to do the job. T1 win the 3v3 1 for nothing. They just couldn't get one more person as area going forwards, as they kind of assume it's Nico. Plating will at least fall for BLG. They get something in return. It's not quite the same amount, but something in response, as first turret should fall here. He's not giving the gold. He wanted to just deny him some gold. He'll deny him a minion. But T1 winning across the map right now. Faker needs to be very careful. Elk can't root him, but he still has a 4-shot. And that is a threat. Zeus gets first tower, gets another plating on top of it. T1 win the fight in the top lane. It is just a lot of value for T1 being gained, as they've claimed the gold lead thoroughly now. Put it at about 1,500, sometimes usually a little below that. But that's what matters right now. Is T1 have claimed the advantage in this early game. And they capitalize. Ah, we're out of the blanket. It's almost warm. They're not even warm in the house. As Zeus getting jumped on, Owner gonna fall in onto the way, but he's gonna get impaled. And the Gnar shoves everybody under turret. It's going to be the keeper's verdict on to Owner. But that just delays everything. Carrier coming up. He's going to get spotted out. He has the Pop Blossom, but he doesn't have the disguise anymore. And BLG are under the turret. And T1 deny the fight for Billy. They try to get the keeper's verdict onto Owner. Make sure that Zeus gets targeted, but he gnars them all under turret, meaning there's a disengage angle for Zeus now. If they chase that, they just lose. Just outright lose that play if they chase. And that is so well played. Okay, that was not a pop loss. Thought it was. That would have been concerning. And 800 gold in the lead for Zeus. Got the turret to himself his way. Getting jumped on by Faker. There's no impale available. There's a hijack now, and it's the keeper's verdict. The Rift Herald going in their favor. They can eject Way if he tries to fight them. As here comes Owner, and this is T1 just dominating these objectives right now. Zeus teleporting to the top lane as well. And denying the turret as there's more teleports coming in. Here comes Knight, here comes Faker. And they want to just make sure there's nothing for BLG in this game as best they can. And if that means getting an extra teleport in to deny a 2v1 for Knight, it is what it is. Well, On not going to be able to Hex Slash over safely, or at least unspotted, as Faker will be able to just play under his turret. He has the Keeper's Verdict still for a little bit longer. Not quite going to be as useful yet, or even usable. He probably will drop it before he gets to use it. T1 just continuing to build their lead. Gone from 1,300-ish to 1,700 or 1,600. So about a 200 gold swing in their favor over the past minute or so. BLG still very much in this game. They just need to find a fight they can actually take. They tried to find one in the top lane with the teleports, but did not really happen. As now, you try and jump onto Faker. It's just not going to reach. And there's the Impale coming through. The Charm connects on to the Goat. It's going to flash out, but there's the Spirit Rush. And it's going to be Knight picking up Faker here. And Flash burned on top of that. That is huge for BLG as they don't burn a summoner. Okay, they might have smited him. That's about it. Yeah, they smited him, and that doesn't even count, really. As on, dodges away from everything, but he's going to get hit by the Vault Breaker. There's the cease, the desist, two-man Pop Blossom. Elk cleanses immediately. Following over the wall, owner Zeus here now to put in the damage. But he's not going to have quite enough yet. Guma's getting jumped on, has to flash away from Bin, but Bin's going to flash follow him. Carrier. And there's the drive into the wall from Way, and that is absolutely massive for Billy Gaming as they've evened out the kills once again. And T1 drop a member for another member, but it is an overall 2-for-1 in favor of Billy Gaming. Still a 1,000 gold lead, but just if they keep taking fights like that, Bin, oh my goodness. 74 games of Jax as Nar clears his way immediately. I thought that. Okay, hold on. Let's go through the play. I thought there's a lot of games on Ari for Knight. That's even more. It's on unspotted or doesn't spot out owner, so he doesn't actually block this. And the Pop Blossom, good response from Elk. And then Elk, they get the dive, flashes out. Look where Guma is. He's so far. He's so screwed. He didn't auto. Maybe he could have tried to get away with autoing Bin to jump the wall. But it is a tough situation for T1. They wanted to commit to that play, but they don't have a wave, and then they don't have the ability to finish off Elk. They do get his flash, but they give the lives over. It's around 1,000 gold right now for T1. About a 1k gold lead. But Faker's lead is non-existent anymore as it is Knight. He had control of the lane phase, and now he is 2-0-1 on his best champion. I mean, it's prolific for a reason. It is a prolific pick for this purpose. There are just, oh my goodness, chances. Okay, what are the item completions? I'm not paying attention to the item completions. Proto Belt or Rocket Belt, whatever. The better one's Proto Belt. Rift Herald summoned all the way at the bases. It auto drops now if it is going to expire. Pretty cool. As Zeus jumped on by Bin. Faker's here now, and so is Knight. Zeus needs to just buy time right now as the charm connects. Faker has the Grandmaster at arms, or the Grandmaster's might as it used to be known. Zeus is going to teleport back in for this play if he needs to, as he's just waiting and sitting on the Mega Gnar. Is teleport going to come in? They're looking to zone off Faker. Owner is starting. The dragon will fall for T1. It is Cloud Drake's soul. And for someone like Carrier or Faker or Owner, that is a huge, huge soul for them. It's allowing the Nico to chase down a little bit longer once the ulti's casted. You get a lot more catch out with it. Gives you a bit more repositioning time. Not literally. It gives you the ability to reposition more during your cast time. I mean, Owner, he's going to just fly in there and he's going to have a giant speed buff on him. And BLG tried to force the hand of T1, but it just isn't gonna happen. T1 not scared. They knew that if BLG wanted to fight, they couldn't. They just burned a lot of summoners, or they burned a teleport again. and the Grandmaster at Arms, so Bin doesn't have his extra resistances and damage. Zeus is about to go Mega, and we have control of the river and have everything. So it is really hard for BLG to fight there. It's just this game is just going very poorly, or just it's very difficult for BLG to win this game overall. They already drafted a pretty rough team fighting comp, as Zay is actually going to get jumped on. He's tired. He needs to just flash away from Bin here. Flash for flash. Bin has so many resistances, he'll be able to survive without really a care in the world. And that is the value of the ulti of Jax. You could tank so much more than you normally would. And that is an advantage. That is the thing that T1 need to worry about, is that Bin can just kind of kill off any member he wants if he tries. And now the gold lead pretty much dead even. Who cares about a 400 gold difference? What is T1's angle here? Because BLG, they can't send Zeus to side lane against Bin anymore. He gets answered way too easily. It's gonna be hard to side lane into Knight and Bin, honestly. So difficult for T1 to, I mean, they have good team fights. I was saying it's hard for BLG to play their win con because they have to keep catching out, but they have been on a champ he's so good at and he's very comfortable on. And now the Zanya's finish, meaning his passive is actually going to do a lot more damage, which is very funny. But otherwise, T1 really need to rely on team fights or some very advantageous picks, because while they have team fight pressure, they don't really have any other pressure. Bin just wins 1v1s now. Knight doesn't need to worry about Faker. Unless he absolutely misplays, obviously. But Knight can just dance around Faker for quite a while. It is really hard for them to do a ton because they are very clearly building around Guma. Just like the team is for years. They are playing around Guma. And they are want to get him fed. They want him to be the guy. As that is it's not bad. 2-item Kalista is not a bad person to put your faith in. It's just that, oh no, it's Zeus getting caught out again. The stun's gonna connect, and he needs to Gnar before that, but the Impale gonna connect now. Zeus just trying to buy as much time as he can as Faker's here. The Impale gonna connect onto the Skarner. Zeus will fall tonight, though, as Knight follows the teleports in, and Guma needs to start just tucking tail, and Billy Gaming 2 for nothing in this bot lane play. They're calling for the Baron. Zeus just is behind, and now he's definitely further behind. It is going poorly in this mid game for T1. They can't find an angle. BLG just haven't really been grouping, and anytime they have been grouping, they've been extremely cautious to not hand over any advantageous positions. They've been cautious to avoid any situations where Carrier can catch them out, but this is a big one where Carrier can catch them out if he positions it properly. Baron is going to be killed off of a little bit, as there's the lockdown onto Elk. The Pop Blossom will find 2. They're gonna get Elk. Guma is going in. It's a double already. Guma gonna get locked down by Bin, though. And now 2v3. Can Bin do it? He cannot. It's a double kill for Zeus. A double kill for Guma. And right when I said they were finding the positions to avoid these kinds of situations, BLG hand T1 a team fight position they will gladly accept. And this should be the Baron. They just need to make sure Wei doesn't get into the pit. And Carrier will survive. And it's 4 Baron buffs for T1. Guma just not up in time. They couldn't really take the chance to slow it down. And this starts because the way they're positioned, Wei, Bin, and On are nowhere near. Oh, that was kind of a misplay from Carrier, but it's fine. Or from, I guess it was Guma. But this all starts with BLG splitting. BLG start by splitting off. They separate by accident or intentionally, I guess. They don't expect T1 to wrap around. They separate Knight and Elk from the rest of the team, the tanky members of the team, and that allows Owner to just ulti onto Elk for free, no chase down, Guma and carry a follow, and that is instantly your damage dealers. Now, your core damage dealers. Jax is ahead, Jax has damage, but you need other members to distract from the fact that Jax cannot really, like, 5v1. As there's the gone button. Keeper's verdict is huge. They're trying to lock down Faker. Faker gonna hit a 3-man Keeper's verdict, but can he find any kills? He cannot. They're gonna lock down Bin in exchange, though the curtains are open, but everyone's pretty close to full health right now, so it's not doing anything. The Impale gonna connect onto Carrier. Carrier gonna be able to try and run away with the clone for a little bit longer. Knight will pick him up. They're on to Elk, though. Elk is gone, but Knight has a double kill. Can they finish the job? Elk is out of stacks. Owner goes forwards. Owner gonna get a double kill of his own, picking up Way, and they're trying to chase him down. The flash from Elk, or from Zeus, will get the gap closed. The stun from On will just delay the inevitable. He falls to Zeus. It's a killing spree from 0-2 to 3-2-4. Zeus is thriving in this team fight in these team fights, man. It starts so well for BLG. They get this Drake. They say sayonara to 2 members of T1. But look where Bin is. This is not where you want to be when 2 members get Keeper's verdicted. And then they just turn. They put 3 ultis into him. They don't want to give Bin a chance to pop off. Get a chance to ramp up that Triforce, to ramp up his auto attack passive. Nah, none of that. And then Carrier still has enough to put in the damage, and that's what matters. That damage from Carrier onto Way is going to come back and be very valuable, because it's the reason Owner's able to pick up the kill there. In BLG, the fight starts so well. The ejection, but Bin is in too deep for where the rest of T1 are positioning, and you see the damage from Knight. Knight is trying so hard to pull this back for BLG. He wants this so badly, but it is just too difficult right now for them to win the fights with the way they're positioning. They've handed over 2 really bad... They've given T1 2 really strong positions in their fights, and that's gonna be that could be the difference. That is such a huge difference for BLG. In the Baron fight, they handed over Elk and Knight. In the Drake fight, they hand over Bin. And despite the ejection, Owner and Zeus were still full health. Zeus was waiting for Meganar still, so it didn't really change anything. If they ejected a Meganar, that's a different story. But Zeus wasn't even Mega yet. He wasn't even close. He was still building it. And now it is T1 in control thoroughly. 5,000 in the lead. The items are still pretty matched, though. It is mostly in the jungle, which is kind of a concern, because now Owner has the Guardian's Angel, has the GA, and the Guardian Angel, not Guardian's Angel. That's a different thing. Also, Guardian's Angel would be ironic, but whatever. As how on earth? I did not expect T1 to show up to their toughest match of the tournament like this. They couldn't beat Top Esports, the 2 seed of the LPL. They got smoked. Were they the 2? They had to be the 2 seed. No way they weren't the 2 seed. Yeah. They got smoked in the LPL semifinals by Weibo made the final. Don't ask questions. Weibo also got smoked though, so it's okay. But they got obliterated by BLG in upper bracket finals. It was 3-1. They have taken 4 games off of BLG in the playoffs, and that team, BLG, are such a wagon that everyone is expecting to make a run for at least semifinals once again, but they want to see this team win for China. And T1 are just cutting their lifelines out. The one thing that we've seen the LPL rely on consistently is their team fighting prowess. This is a region that loves team fighting and knows how to navigate them better than almost anybody else in the world, and they are just sweeping that away from them. T1 draft for the team fight, and they are doing exactly that. They are team fighting their heads off. And now 3 items on the Jhin. He's going to be able to shred decently, but it is break in a second, literally. It's on getting this vision control. He's trying to get the wraparound on Zeus, but he's spotted out. T1 need to keep this in control. There's the ground onto Owner, but Owner has 2 health bars right now. It's more like 1.25, but Wei gonna get locked down. The Impale doesn't connect. Wei already low, and it's gonna be an ejection onto Carrier. They don't have that key engage. Bin has teleported in, but Zeus is here. No counter strike. He's gonna have to go golden. And that means that Bin is gone. Owner into the GA, but he'll be able to survive. They still have the Pop Blossom Flash, and that means T1 will get the Drake Soul. Save disaster striking. Wei not gonna be able to steal it away. You are not Guma. It is time for the Drake Soul to be unleashed. It is time for the Baron for T1 if they do choose to just burst it down. But they're gonna bait it. They're gonna bait it out. And they're just gonna commit. Good vision toggle. We didn't know if they were going to commit or not. As Carrier finds Elk. And they're going to just jump in on him. Knight able to flash away from Faker's Impale. But the Gnar means there's no more running. T1, they want to end this game. Oh, no, they knocked the camera over. And T1, they're getting a crowd roaring here because they are on the verge of an unbelievable upset, which is crazy to say for one of the best teams in League of Legends, but with how they've been performing and how they've done this tournament against another LPL team, it is unbelievable. This is T1 reminding the world that Worlds is different, but there's a 3-man Impale. That is disaster for T1 potentially, but the Gnar is huge in response. They don't have any damage. Bin is down. It is a tank against all 5 members of T1. Elk doesn't have it in them. In T1, they destroy the odds. They get the win against the best in China. And they are 1 win away from the knockouts for the 9th time in their history. And this is not where you thought these two teams would be entering the final matches. Entering the final 2 series of Worlds. Or the Swiss stage particularly. T1 2-1, which was maybe expected, but BLG 1-2 now. And this would be the first time the LPL 1 seed has been knocked out of the World Championships, if I'm not mistaken. Like, or not knocked out of Worlds, but this would be the first time the 1 seed, right? 1 seed from the LPL knocked out in the Swiss stage or the group stage. This is just not... That's insane. T1 team fight their asses off, and they get rewarded. Billy Gaming just had no answers. They shuffled up. They got worried, and they made too many mistakes in the clutch. And T1, you can't give them anything. Doesn't matter what seed they are from Korea. They are so good individually, and as a team, they know that it is just a matter of time before T1 show up at Worlds. And Korea's already won from the 4 seed. DRX won as the 4 seed, so we know this Korean 4 seed is a problem. And T1 are showing us it. I'll get back with the numbers on the LPL 1 seeds eventually. But for now, that is game 2 done. T1 dominate in the team fights. And it is It is just unbelievable that they are doing so well when their expectations were the lowest they've ever been. And BLG, what the hell? The LPL champions on the verge of elimination. They got to win back to back. T1 just got to win one of the next two. And it is time for game, or almost time for game number 3. PSG Talon and FlyQuest face off. The winner advancing to the 2-1 pool. Of course, the loser going to face elimination. Rematch of the play-in stage. Can the NA Killers do just that again? They took out FlyQuest at MSI in the play-in stage. They eliminated 100 Thieves earlier this tournament. FlyQuest look to continue the win streak against North America, while PSG Talon look to continue the win streak against North America, while FlyQuest look to at least have one NA team showing up and performing halfway decently. I'll see you for the third game of the day. And we're back, baby. It is time for PSG Talent to take on FlyQuest in the rematch of the MSI play-in stage. FlyQuest got the 2-0 in the first round, or got the 2-1 in the first round, but PSG Talent came back 2-0'd their ass, knocking out the NA 2 seeds at the time, and now they've climbed their way up to NA 1 seeds. PSG Talent both times PCS champions now. They knocked out 100 Thieves earlier in the tournament, and they are looking for blood. They want to send FlyQuest down to the elimination matches. As Maple said, we knocked out FlyQuest before. We'll do it again. The last dance running through the same team twice would be phenomenal for PSG Talent and sending them to the advancement stage, of course. But still got to play the game. All the talk in the world. Both of these teams obviously think they have a strat to beat over the opponent's head. But yeah, play the game first and then you do the talking. Well, you talk before, but then you got to play the game, of course. And it's either you back up your talk or you get smacked up. Now, we're seeing a lot of targeted bans at Aja. I mean, Aurora's both Maple and Aja, but Aja's been practicing a lot of the Aurora in the case that he gets to play it. But Rumble and Jax, Aja's, I guess, more notable champions. Definitely the Rumble, but even after the nerfs, he's still playing it. I don't know about the Jax. That is a... Oh my god, it's Tiny Whale. It's a tiny crocheted whale. Fine. No, he holds it on the... Yes, look at it. Renekton blinded for Bwipo here. The thing is, Aja plays Vayne. That is the thing. Aja plays Vayne. We saw it in the play-in stage that he is not afraid to bust out the odd Vayne pick. As we're looking at the vibe for Aja once again, he's gone to this champion a handful of times consistently. Oh, yeah, I meant to do that. Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. But... Oh, yeah, they didn't even play. And it's going to be Ari for Maple Blind. All right. That can work. And no, it's not Nuno. It was just a hover. It was a very silly hover. Oh, wow. It is going to be the Ivern. I was not wowing the Ivern lock-in, obviously. The Ivern, very, very consistent pick for inspired. FlyQuest still playing the tree, even after some may have started not believing. And Cassio locked in for quad. We have not seen... Oh my god, I've like so much frozen. But we've not seen this this tournament from Quad. I believe we've seen it this year from Quad. I'm going to go check that out while we wait for the lock-in for the top lane. Quad all season has played 4 games of Casio. He's 3-1. I don't believe he's busted it out at the national yet. All in the NACL when he was on FlyQuest Challengers for the spring split. It will be the Narf for Maple officially. And Ash going to be taken away from Masu here. It is just going to be a bit of a back and forth. Fair. In this, it should just be bot lane ADCs taken away over and over again. Zig's taken away from Betty here. I'm honestly fine with that. Legitimately, the best case scenario is they just let it fly. Wow. So I believe it's 2 times. Back to the LPL really quickly. It is, I believe, 2 times their number 1 seed has gotten knocked out in the group stage. Zaya taken away from Masu as well. Ooh. So that kind of implies they want to go for the Kaisa. They want this Kaisa locked in. Rakan going to be taken away from Woody now. It's going to be the Jhin. Betty has played a lot of Jhin. I don't remember the exact numbers, but he's played a lot of Jhin this season. 9 games in summer alone, he lost 1. This whole season, he only played it in summer. He's 8-1. And over his career, 23-9. So he's in a really good position. But it will still be the Kaisa locked in for Masu. What's the support going to be? It could... will be the Leona locked in for Busio and Nautilus, Rel. We could just keep seeing this because Woody keeps playing Rel. They keep giving him Rel. He's going to keep playing the Rel, I guess, is the way to phrase it. And it just works because it is true. Just one of the best champions in the entire tournament. It is really hard to like justify otherwise. You know? Who has the most deaths so far, champion wise? Query and show net value. Most deaths. It is Rel. 68. No one's even close. God damn. Okay. Now, I want to see what Quad can do because Quad Casio has worked at the lower tiers of competition. So it is a question of whether it's going to translate to not only like the bigger, not only to the tier 1 scene, but now to the highest stage in League of Legends. And of course, for PSG Talent, we've seen this comp or a similar one so many times from them. They've run this so much. It is like their go-to. It is such a quintessential draft from them that it is kind of just not that surprising. We're going to need to see the execution still because PSG Talent, one of their struggles is the execution. Even though we know they can run this comp and run it well, it's just up to the fact of can they execute it on any given day. That is, their one weakness is inconsistency on the international stage. Give Yumi a gun, it would solve the Yone problem. Okay, team. But FlyQuest also still a double rookie squad. A lot of people are still skeptical, including me. I'm still skeptical of what PSG or of what FlyQuest can do here on the international stage, is this is a lane swap. This is a lane swap. See how... Well, I actually have to see how this goes, because I don't know. What's the highest win rate right now of 5 games? 82%. Jesus Christ. Okay. Because this means that... Actually... No, should be fine. Aja's already topside. He'll be fine. It's going to be... Not even Blippo rotate. Actually, no. Everyone's in position already. No one's playing around the mid lane. There's no top laners playing mid. So, no teleports are needed, actually. Lucio just going to clear out that, though. Aja just going to go and do something else. As they're going to spot out where Ivern started. It's going to be really hard to stop him. As they spot out Woody as well on this invade. You notice there's really nothing for him to do. Aja going to be forced to teleport back up to top lane now, too. Or later. They're just going to give the opportunity. Top lane. He's actually going to give Prior. Okay, Judge is going to give Prior here to the top lane. Which means Inspired's going to be able to answer this push in bot lane pretty easily if they do go for any aggression. It's not like he has to go anywhere. It's Ivern. He has all of his camps already set up for him. This will be a plating for PSG pretty easily. They have a stacked wave and demolish. Is Bwipo going to tank a 4-shot? Not really going to tank any damage. Aja's just playing safe, but not safe enough. The bounce comes, or the hop comes through. The bounce does not. And Aja does still need to be very careful. That misplaced hop, kind of tough. Should just respect the fact that it is possible. We're going to take a lot there from Quad, and that is the advantage is no one's been facing Cassiopeia. She's been such a low presence champion over the past year and a half now. It's been a long time since we've seen consistent Cassio. It's been a long time since we've seen consistent Cassio, to say the least. And it is pretty good, actually, to just have this surprise pick in your pocket. So again, Quad only having played this in the NACL, but he's still consistently confident on it as Bwipo is going to fall to the Ignite, and it's first blood over to Woody. He went in too deep, and FlyQuest cannot do anything. Like, his top laner just staring at the death, because that is so well played from the PSG bot lane right there. Teleport coming in from Bwipo to just salvage what he can, and that is not first blood for Betty, which is what you would want to see, but it is still very good for them nonetheless. As Maple just doesn't really have any sustain left, doesn't have any damage really to threaten Quad with. They do put Aja behind. That is, it's not a, okay, the lane swap's kind of unsuccessful because First Blood went through for the bot lane of PSG. But they did put Aja pretty behind. We'll have to see if that trade pays off as we are returning to regular lanes. I mean, in swapped positions, but traditional lanes are here. Just have to see, because it's really up to how PSG are going to be able to push this advantage and how FlyQuest are going to push their top lane advantage. As you can see the gold difference right there. Boots and a dagger compared to a Rectrix. Rectrix or Retrix? I can't remember. Oh, they've really put him behind. And, yep, they're going to show it. XP diff is huge. As Betty is also down a little bit of XP. And that is a big chunk taken out. Lucio's not ahead of Woody is the issue. Or is the good... No, Lucio... I mean, barely ahead of Woody. I thought Woody had more XP, but... Gave Betty some more of it, obviously. As Inspired... I don't know how good his clear of this is going to be. Like, I mean, it's pretty safe. But... Has the ADC and the support here. So this should just be FlyQuest getting these early. Rubs. And instead going bot side. Junja will grab... First Drake, he can solo it by no, like he could just solo it pretty easily. There's no real work. There's no contest potential. There is a contest potential for Inspired, actually. You see where your bot lane is. You see where your mid lane is. Junja does not get the chance to take this just yet. Pressure Quad is able to exert here is huge. Now, not only building an XP advantage, he's building a pretty hefty CS advantage on top of it. They do have the ulti available, but there's the lockdown onto Maple. The crash down going through. They burn the ignite. Maple's gonna just walk it off, but Quad is very healthy here. He is pretty much full health. As Junja going to lock down the Casio. The Sun connects. Quad going to land a nice petrifying gaze, but it's going to be Busio picking up one. It's going to be Junja falling, but not before Maple can pick up the double kill. It is a 2 for 2 in mid, but Maple is getting his gold back. Junja just flying in. Quad doesn't gaze him just yet. There's no damage yet. Cassio's still building up all the items. Quad got a nice ulti, though. It was a really nice ult. But I think he needs to use it here. But it is really hard to buffer that. Like, it is really easy for Junja to buffer that, pretty much. But the CC chain is there, and then Maple's not in the Petrifying Gaze, and he's just able to flash re-engage here. Kill goes through on the two non-Maple members of PSG Talent, but that is still Maple getting a pretty good amount of gold and completely closing the gold difference here and taking the advantage in the bot lane, or in the mid lane, not in the bot lane. But they are keeping Gnar behind. He's going... Ajo buys the gold to at least try and do something, get some gold back, but it's still going to be a very slow pace for him in this top side. He's going to be just catching some waves. First Strike's still up. They couldn't really do anything with Junja dead. So FlyQuest don't have to worry about that at all. As also just going to back off. Junja spotted means Aja has the advantage, has pressure advantage. We're going to have to see how Quad pushes his advantage now that it's a gold disadvantage, but he's still, like, look at this. He is in still a very strong position. We're just going to have to see how Quad can take this and continue to pressure at least something. Because if they just go straight CSing, he will close this gap. Quad will close this gap if Maple and him just go for just pure farm. He just doesn't have anything. And do his Bwippo half a level ahead right now. Full level and a half ahead of Aja. Aja is just now hitting level 8. As there's the stun. Junja's here. And Aja plays that very well to bring it to Junja. And now the combo available. They're trying to get Masu involved, but it's just going to be 2 flashes forced out by FlyQuest. And the Mega Gnar wasted. Just the pure confidence there is huge. As Quad gonna get locked down, and there's the curtains opened up, and Quad will survive this, but Betty Flash Auto means that it's gonna be a kill to him this time, not a kill to Woody. It's all to him this one. All to him on that one. What? Not English. And they do have to burn Betty's Flash, but it is such a... It's just still worth it. That is such a worth position for PSG Talon, as Junja gonna only be able to grab one grub here and disengage. If it is 5 grubs to FlyQuest, that is a huge win con in their pocket. And yeah, there's just no rotate available for Betty. Maple is just clearing out this top wave. It will be 5 grubs to 1. FlyQuest have that early objective advantage. They're down 1,000 gold. It's not that big of... It's not as big a gap as it sounds, though it is 1,000 in mid lane and 700. Sorry, I read that wrong. 700 in mid lane and 600 in bot lane. Jungle advantage isn't going to matter when you're playing Ivern and either. Your items are already cheap. So your item advantage is already going to be up there comparatively on a Vi. This top lane one, though, that one's going to matter. If Whippo can get fed, this guy is such a problem. Aja's going to really just be a walking ultimate every like minute and a half or something, however fast he can get it. He is still working on closing the gap thoroughly. It's going to be a while, though, before we see this gold gap close. It's going to be on the Cull, and I don't know if the Cull's going to finish the job. 670 on this, at least on Woody's support quest. We will see... Okay. I thought I saw something else. But we will see the Drake finally taken by PSG Talon about 4 minutes after they first wanted to take it. Or quite a while, actually. It's probably closer to 7. As they're looking for Quad, as Aja going to throw Bwippo into the turret, and it will just be a short trade there. As Junja's beating up Daisy right now. This is very dangerous for PSG right now. They need to be smart. As Masu's in the area. Quad has pretty much everything available to him. They need to not overplay their position. As Masu gonna get rooted, forces the cleanse out. And that is very good for FlyQuest, because that means that it's just a flash and a killer instinct. It's still going to be very difficult, but it's doable. That's what matters. As the nice charm lands, let's just give you a chunk out of Quad. Four turret plates, perfectly balanced as all things should be. As Maple needs to be careful here. If Quad flashes into his ulti, this could be a lot of death being had on PSG Talon's side. Or a lot of death on Maple's side, at least. And continuing to push this advantage, the Cull completion is only going to close it to about 150. And that's fine. That is perfectly fine, honestly. But PSG Talon still in a slight advantage, as Busio is looking for the play here with Bwippo, but they should just get this turret, and that should just go all to Bwippo. There's no reason for them not to just put this all on Bwippo. Bwippo not going to stall out the wave either. He actually he couldn't. No. He saw bot lane and went, yeah, we got to get this. Rift Herald should be pretty easily in control of FlyQuest, though. PSG Talon showing Junja bot lane with Maple, and Aja's pushed in. About all he can do. And the gold gap would have been closed a lot more if it wasn't for the fact that it's going to be about 1,000 now just for Bwippo. Betty going to steal some camps away here. That's the static shiv, so actually really good for him. And if he leaves Big Bird there, going to be stalled out for quite a while. Junja not going to go for the ulti. Whippo spotted out now. I mean, he was spotted by Junja. As the root. Next, Whippo needs to be careful here, but should be able to just use Dominus and force a disengage. It is a Dominus burn, but still just not dying is a huge advantage right now for Whippo. As giving gold back over just is very dangerous. He needs to be able to maintain his pace right now. Even with the early death, he needs to be able to maintain pace. Because early death was in... Ugh. Early death was in lane and he already had advantage built. He needs to maintain it now, though. So dying now would really mess up your pace and allow Aja a chance to close some of this gold gap. It's not going to close it a lot. Especially if Aja is not involved in the kill. But it's more that it is the opportunity for him to start gaining CS over Whippo and XP. Most importantly, he has about a full level lead, and he wants a full level of XP lead, I should say, percentage-wise, and he wants to maintain that. It's down to about a half level. This wave shouldn't really push him much further. Not yet. So Asha's pretty back in this game, though, because they've just been letting him catch waves as well. Kind of a double-edged sword. They can't really just keep putting resources into putting Aja behind because FlyQuest are already behind. Putting a Gnar further behind isn't really worth it, as Whippo doesn't have ulti if they want to try and lock him down here. The Charm connects, the Crash Down connects, the Magnet Storm gives him not enough there. He's able to flash away thanks to the Redemption healing. And do they want to try and take this here? It's up to Busio if he can hit this. And Quad not going to overcommit. PSG Talent commit a lot. FlyQuest commit a flash. Ooh, wait. Oh, yeah. I was like, I thought Quad TP'd somewhere else, but no, Quad just TPs. And so I don't think he's going to base anytime soon because why would he base? There's just no reason. It should be FlyQuest getting this Drake pretty easily. There's not really a lot of pressure. PSG burned a lot to be able to try and threaten the kill onto Whippo, so it was a pretty expensive play, to say the least. Busio and Junja are going to stare each other down. Okay, Betty's here. I was going to say, who's catching midwave? I just look up and see Betty on the minimap, and it's all okay. Currently just a stalemate. Neither team can really grab a massive advantage because neither team has been able to land their picks. PSG just get that redemption is so important. That is the strength of Ivern, is you just have a support. What used to be his biggest downside is his biggest upside. At least in pro play, it's his biggest upside. You just have a second support. It's also his biggest upside in solo queue. You just have a free support and you can just craft 2 tanks. You don't need to worry about getting a champ that can build redemption. And also his shielding is absurd. He is really broken. Ivern is a bit too strong for what he should now. I think Maple proc Electrocute. I would be surprised if he didn't, as there's the jump in onto Whippo. He has the Dominus, though, so they're not going to commit too much. And Dominus burned immediately. And now with the curtains opened, that is just death for Whippo here. Junja going to pick up that one. As Quad denying the play onto the turret and the teleport mid means that there is going to be no killed turret here. Maybe, actually, as there's the catch on to Inspired. Maple on a killing spree. And they're going to try and chase down Masu. I don't think it's happening. As Busio going to give his life for the cause if he doesn't play careful here. But here comes Aja. Aja has no Gnar bar, though. But he's just going to be an ADC as they're trying to lock down Junja. The crash down will find Busio. Betty going to pick up that one. And now the Ignite out. There is no support coming in for Masu here. He's going to get smited. He's going to get flipped backwards. He's going to cleanse. And he's going to fall. Woody steals the kill. But PSG Talon just keep crushing FlyQuest in this mid-game. Or now entering the mid-game. They are crushing FlyQuest into fights. And now 3,000 gold ahead. But PSG Talon, they need to be careful. This is a dangerous game they're playing. Good Gnar ulti by Gnar. Good Gnar by Aja to get Bweppo off him. And this all starts with the play in topside. And then Maple just teleports down, denies the turret. And then so much damage from Betty and Maple. Even through the redemption they kill. And then Busio stalls for time here. But really, it just allows Aja more time to wrap around. And Woody more time to make it to the play. Because his team tries to go back in. And that means that they just have to give more. And 4 for nothing for PSG FlyQuest. They're just not able to do anything. It starts with Bweppo in the top lane. That is a full map. That is a literal full map play. Starting in the top lane with Bweppo and going all the way down to Inspired, Masu, and Busio. Just from top to bottom in the most literal sense you can. Because that was just supposed to be catch up Bweppo and stall out this mid push. And it turned into kill Bweppo, kill all of FlyQuest. Is not what you want to see if you are in the position FlyQuest was in, which is like 600 gold down. If you had a small disadvantage that kind of didn't matter a ton, and it turns into a giant disadvantage that matters a lot more, that's not good. It is only a little over 2,000 ahead, but giving that advantage over is just obviously not the right play. And Betty's going to take a decent chunk out of that turret at least. It's playable. But these gold diffs for the carries of PSG are going to start coming in to bite them because Bippo's not that threatening. He is Dominus, and if he doesn't have Dominus, he's kind of just a sitting duck. And that is also a sign of how, like, just tough this top lane is. Aja hasn't really died. He hasn't played poorly this game. It's just that he was put behind early and didn't get turret platings. They didn't really give Aja any turret platings for obvious reasons. PSG Talon just going to take this second Drake. It's a very late second dragon, so we'll have to see how this goes. It's off of the back of a very late first Drake, but the rest of the Drakes have actually been taken in pretty timely manners. Is Masu going to get locked down, but no follow-up from FlyQuest. They're just going to play, or no follow-up from PSG. They're just going to play it smart. There's no reason to force any plays here. And 3-0-4 for Maple. He is very strong right now, and he is going towards, I want to say either Horizon Focus or Rocket Belt. I can't tell which one's an option yet. I don't know if you build Rocket Belt on Ari. I've never built Rocket Belt on Ari personally. I usually just build, like, Ludens into Storm Surge or... But we'll see how this goes. These are pretty standard builds all around right now. The Executioner's just for Bweppo. That is really satisfying to see that. I would have queued, but whatever. And that's Mort Reminder finished. Mortal Reminder taken, and that is actually really big. There's obviously the redemption, so if you can spread that damage with the Static Shiv, there is just so much that you could do here with that damage. And with that anti-heal, again, just removes Bweppo, removes Inspired's item, basically. Now, they should finally get this top turret into the hands of Maple. It's been a battle to get up here. Inspired with the Dawn Core third item. You never get to see Dawncore. It's kind of a booty cheeks item. They buffed it. It's still a little booty cheeks. But it's better, I guess. That's worth anything. Slightly better. You should just see Nashers into poke. Or Nashers into full AP here. That gold difference, it's just going down for FlyQuest. But was at least pretty close. It's still solidly close, but it has gone from back and forth to it has been PSG in control for quite some time. They need to be careful here to not overextend as Bwipo's on the flank. They catch up Bwipo, though, it's kind of over for him. Because he just can't really fight PSG. He's not that threatening yet. Oh, teleport. Okay. No, tether range. I was wondering what the hell happened there to Daisy is tether range. Oh my god. So sad. As Betty finally going to be able to get this mid-tier 2 or tier 1. It's a long fight. And the gold lead is only expanded to 3,000 after off of those 2 turrets being taken. So PSG playing it strategically slow here. And it's still it's so playable for both of these teams. These team fights are this next team fight's gonna be nutty whenever it happens. Because we're gonna have we're gonna have max rank Cassio ulti, we're gonna have a Dominus. We're gonna have what? Possibly 3. Holy cow, Maple's way ahead of everyone else in damage. As PSG, are they forcing Baron? They're gonna force Baron here. Shadow Flame. Oh, I forgot Shadow Flame builds out of that. I build Shadow Flame all the time and I still forget. As if they can lock down Quad here, but he's spotted. And that will be a burn teleport on the side of Maple for not much because PSG aren't going to pull the trigger quite yet. As Bwipo going to chase in. He's going to get stunned. He's already in. Dominus, the Magnustorm goes down, and there's the Sterax, and that's Woody down. Can FlyQuest turn the fight? The curtains are open, but they're not on the right side. Junja is down. Maple needs to start running, and that's a charm the wrong way. He will fall to Cassio's poison. And PSG Talon cannot find the fight. They force it, and they are uncoordinated. FlyQuest will thrive in the chaos as he's trying to lock down Betty. The cleanse comes through. It is on to Aja. Aja was not even in that fight, really. He was in the early fight for Bwipo, and that is all he'll be in there for, as they need Meganar now, and it is so bad for them to fight this. It will just be the Baron over, and that is a gold swing of FlyQuest, evening it out. It's 800, so yeah, about even. As teleport coming out of Quad or Bwipo, one of the two. Bwipo and Quad. Both of them. And this starts with an okay engage, but look where PSG are positioned. Junja's nowhere. And then way too deep. They let Quad go way in, and Junja's in the middle of nowhere trying to ulti out to safety. It's not going to happen. Great stuns coming through. Maple, that is not where you want to charm. He was flashing and then threw the E at the same time. And FlyQuest, it's not clean, but it's a win. And that's what matters. It isn't clean at all, but they won it. And that's all you really can ask for at this phase of the game. Is there's a lot of damage going around now. And FlyQuest have a better team fight comp. Jin just doesn't have really good team fight compared to like Kaisa and Cassio. It's really difficult. Maple has good damage. PSG just needs to coordinate is the difference. FlyQuest did coordinate, and it paid off massively for them, obviously. As Bwipo gonna keep trying this play as not Tangle Barbs. Trigger Seed. It's Spire. He's just been playing like the same champion all year. He's just playing Ivern, and that's all he needs. As the Dominus in, Bwipo is okay, he's gonna be able to get out. Junja is so low, but Sterex is just an item. It is such a strong item. It is absurd that you can get away with this BS, but Sterex gives scaling damage-based shields. So bruisers love it. You get like half your health bar in shielding. It is a nonsense item that it just brings you to full health effectively. No? Oh my god, there it is. I was wondering if they were going to build it, and they do. They build the Serpent's Fang. Because there's no AP anti-shield item, which would be really... They have Rel, but Rel can only block so many shields before it's like, okay, this is just getting out of hand. Like, the initial shield break from Woody is there, and then just Inspired. Because there is so much protection on this team comp, because Sterex, again, is an item. Like, there are 3 Sterex in this game, and they're all justified because anti-burst is really useful, and the shield is just unfair. With Randuin's, Betty's going to be doing 0 damage. As FlyQuest needs to... Or, not FlyQuest. PSG need to disengage here. No, that item's so fun. It's just so stupid. It's such an unfun item. I mean, Seraph's is still very strong, and let's just say that there Shield Bow's an item. It's good on a couple champions. Otherwise, it's useless. It's just build Bloodthirster. Thirster is just much better in this situation. We're not going to see 100% crit Jhin. It's fine. You build what you need to. Obviously. They still have the gold advantage, but this Gnar is just not in the fights. He's a full item down. I was going to shred this turret, but is it going to be enough? They're going to trade it for Bwipo, or Bwipo getting a turret in top lane, as that's a teleport. Aja's pretty close to Mega, actually, so they will at least get the teleport. It is a valuable teleport, but still a teleport out, even if it is one that you kind of need to use. Junja gets tagged there. That is not good. Baron out. We're dead even in gold, of course. Because why not? Nothing says league game besides doubling down, as that is a lot of lockdown. They're not going to connect it onto Bwipo, though. Nice charm. Holy cow. As curtain call, is it going to really matter? Busio's just going to eat that. It's going to bring him down to about half, but Busio's fine still. And Woody misses his engage, which is uncharacteristic. Aja's just waiting on Mega Gnar. What is the angle for PSG? Because FlyQuest know their angle. They want to keep poking and prodding and seeing how far they can get away with this front line playing hyper aggressive. And PSG Talon really haven't figured out a way to punish. They need to be perfect on these engages, and they are not hitting them perfectly, as Masu, holy, gonna survive, as Bwipo's teleport coming, or Quad's teleport coming. No, that's Bwipo, yeah. And he's gonna get locked down here, but FlyQuest still in a strong enough position, as PSG can get this. They need to hit some big engages onto Masu. They just really can't. And Aja's going to lose Mega Gnar. That's really important. If Aja loses Mega Gnar, this fight is unwinnable. As the jump in from Woody is interesting. Busio has really been missing these, though. These ultis have not been great, but Bwipo going to jump in onto Maple. There's the shielding. There's the healing. Betty goes down, and Junja's running, and he's not going to be able to do anything. It's a double kill now for Masu. Masu looking to go forwards. Aja doesn't have the Mega Gnar still. It's a triple for Masu. And he's going to get thrown away, but it's a quad for Masu. And FlyQuest keep winning these team fights. And it is once again another fumbled engage from PSG Talon. They keep splitting. They allow Bwipo into the backline. But look at this. Bwipo's in the backline. Masu's flying in. And there's so much. Oh my god, I hate Ivern. This just reminds me how much I hate Ivern. It's so unfun to play against. Not a Penta. It's a Quadra coming through. FlyQuest do play it perfectly, of course. Because, like, that is not the issue here. But, oh my god, Ivern is just kind of a stupid champion in concept. I mean, not in concept, but the itemization and execution of it. Why does he get 2 shields? Why does he just give a champion 2 shields for not doing anything? It's so... His downtime is non-existent. I hate Ivern right now. As they're going to just try and lock down Junja, and that's going to be the Baron. It is too much pressure from FlyQuest here. 4,000 gold ahead now. I hate Trigger Seed so much. Why does that ability have a recap? Why can that ability double proc? It was already a good shield. So why did they make Ivern a laner by allowing that stupid mechanic to exist? It's going to be Baron for FlyQuest. It is really hard now for PSG to find an angle into this game. There's really not much they can do with a Jhin into this, just not even into Ivern. He can just blow up Ivern shields. He can't do anything to shred armor. He cannot consistently hit someone to apply the armor debuffs that he needs. Junja doesn't have a black cleaver, though. That is an interesting angle. No cleaver here from Gnar or Vi. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm not digging these builds. Betty is trying his damnedest, but it is. They need to find some kind of a pick, but they can't really set up a pick now because it is pack hunting time of the game. Like, everyone's full build. Everyone is already max level pretty much, so they're going to mostly be grouping up. It's hard to find picks in that situation, and FlyQuest aren't going to miss position at this point. They know what they want to do, and they're going to try and force that position all the time. And it's going to be on PSG need to find a pick that isn't Busio, pretty much. Like, Busio is the one catch out you can't really afford to have. Eddie is so low, and there's the teleport in from Bwipo. And they're just going to keep this train rolling as there's no black cleaver. He's so tanky. He's still alive. And the shot, what the hell? Woody is just not here. Woody is in some other time zone right now from PSG. Like, have they spotted him yet? They haven't spotted him yet. Woody's just in the flank position constantly. And Woody's back. Okay. Baron is down, but can PSG do anything with that still? As they need to burn down the wave. They'll burn down Daisy. Daisy did not stand a chance. And we just wait a minute till Drake. But the inhib is still down at that time. As, uh-oh. That is really bad if FlyQuest decide that that is an angle they want to take. Because that was a catch out. Never seen FlyQuest with that much restraint. That was a quintessential FlyQuest, we're going and killing someone angle. And I think it was the GA. I think it's the GA that dissuaded them. Because they know that if they get Junja down once, PSG Talon are going to have time to regroup and try and burst someone back. I don't think that's a good reason to not go. I think they could have went for that play. That was just a dangerous position. Junja not gonna face check. Smart play. But FlyQuest looking for Drake Soul here. That would be a very strong Drake Soul. It's a mountain. Buddy. Yeah, they haven't spotted out anybody. But Gnar isn't here. Gnar needs to build up that Gnar bar. And Junja's just gonna be killed off early. Junja's already dead. And I think PSG are just gonna lose here off of that play. It's been a while since PSG were in a winning position, and it is like that's kind of just the official. Oh, look, and Masu just built full AP because Kai'Sa's allowed to do that because Kai'Sa has a freaking projectile. Is a full-on projectile that's like the length of the lane. This isn't even me being mad that my team's losing. No. This is just like, this is ARAM salt going out because why does Kai'Sa have an AP scaling projectile as an ADC? So she can have a stupid ability built around it? So she can have the stupid mechanic that she can build the 3 things that she needs to upgrade her spell. Very stupid mechanic. I hate it. I just hate so much about this team comp, actually. I genuinely think FlyQuest have been like the most boring team at this tournament. I just hate how they play the game. It's so different from how they played anywhere else, and it's so frustrating that it's around Ivern. I just hate Ivern, I think. I don't know, this is... I miss full just attack speed Kai'Sa. It was fun. Just AP Kai'Sa is very boring to face down because what are you supposed to do around it? There's literally no counter to it. It just fires BS from off screen. Like, this isn't an ADC, Riot! This champion's not an ADC. Look at the things she can do. Daisy was solo. No, Masu, coward. Let Daisy win. Daisy would have won eventually. It's a Baron buff for FlyQuest. It's going to be all she wrote in the... that is... There's just no chance. Betty cannot do enough damage with Maple. There's just not enough attacks for them to do. There are not enough attacks for them to kill anybody anymore. As Maple going to get the engage, not even onto Inspire. The charm doesn't connect. Whippo's just in the backlines this whole time. Masu finds one. It's a 1-for-1, but that is very favorable for FlyQuest here. There's just nothing FlyQuest really can do to lose from this position besides actively throwing, which, yeah, they're not going to do that. I don't think that's a very valid strategy. If they get too aggressive here, they can give something, but they just shred. Masu just shreds these turrets right now. And the engage not even going to connect. Woody has nothing left in the tank. Masu with a double kill. Masu's looking for the triple. He's looking for the quadra. He'll get it. And it is just too clean for FlyQuest in the clutch. And it is a 44-minute game. FlyQuest really couldn't finish there for quite a while. They were playing cautious, and... Is that... No, G2 have the worst game of the tournament still. By far. That game was so boring, but this is up there with worst game of the tournament. This was so boring at the end. Just nothing happened. But FlyQuest go 2-1. PSG Talon now facing elimination. It is, they don't even look happy. They look so uninterested. Genuinely, look at the faces of FlyQuest. They don't look happy. I have no clue why they are, like, so dejected in that, but they do not look happy with how they played, and given how they played the early game, yeah, honestly, I can see why. On it, I can agree with them. The early game was kind of ugly, and they had a clawback quite a bit, so yeah, absolutely. I can agree. Even though it was a dominant late game, FlyQuest could have played a lot cleaner, and they're going right now. The teams they can face are Damwon, Hanwha, T1, Top Esports, and they are looking at this game and they're going, yeah, they're not gonna give us that advantage. If a team goes up, if T1 or Top Esports or HLE go up 3,000, 4,000 gold on us, they're not just gonna give us a random team fight where it's winnable and we can come back in the game. And that's honestly, I think, the angle FlyQuest are looking at in this game, not the we came back and won. It's we're never. That's hilarious. That is so cursed. Oh my, that I hate that. Who made that? That's ugly. That image is. Oh. But sorry, they showed a really cursed graphic. But it is for FlyQuest. While they get the win, yes, and now they have 2 shots at advancing, they have to kind of look at this game and go, one, no team's ever going to give us that advantage, really, ever. And 2, in a best of 3, you're screwed if that's your win con. If your win con is to consistently have to come back from a large mid-game deficit, or even a medium-sized mid-game deficit like PSG had, most teams aren't giving you that multiple games in a row, and FlyQuest kind of know that their wins have been really messy. Like, their wins have not been clean, and they need to fix that going into the qualification matches, because no team's going to let them win 2 fluke games in a row. Even though this game, I wouldn't say it was a fluke. They drafted really well, and they played to their win con, which was just outlast Betty, because what are they going to do with 2 burst champions, really, against Ivern and a Renekton? And the poke they can lay down, there's no sustain on the team. So they played to the win con, but it was way less clean than you want to see, especially, again, for the expectations of this team. They are expected to do something for North America at this tournament. And I mean, let's see what Masu says. Yeah. Masu's pretty much saying exactly like, yeah, gave a lot of gold. They scaled, but they can't afford to do that. There's no they know what they did wrong, obviously, and they're just gonna have to clean it up. That's just gonna be a thing they're gonna have to practice. They have somewhere between 3 and 4 days to get some practice in, get some scrims, figure out some draft plans, and we're just gonna have to hope they come back a lot cleaner for their 4th match of the Swiss stage. But speaking of 4th match, it's time for the 4th game and final game of the day. G2 take on Weibo Gaming. In how are both of these teams 1-1? That is really the question. I mean, I can see how G2 is 1-1. They faced HLE. How the hell is Weibo 1-1? NA, I know. It's because of NA, but will G2 match North America's 1 seed and send themselves to the 2-1 pool, or will Weibo Gaming put every LPL team into or no, they wouldn't actually. BLG happened. Well, will the LPL have a second representative in the 2-1 pool and have potentially upwards of 3 teams making the knockout stage in a couple days? I'll see you as we get into the final game of the day. And it is time for the final game of the day. Final best of 1 of the World Championships. Is it going to be a banger? I don't know. Weibo versus G2. This is a weird... How the hell did this even happen? I feel like Weibo should be 0-2. Like... Yeah, Weibo should be 0-2. But they aren't, and it's a mystery. I don't know what to expect coming into this game. I know G2 builds whatever G2 wants, and they can kind of play whatever they want, and Weibo just choose to play whatever they want. Like, and that's the thing about a team like Weibo, is kind of just, they are the wild card. They are the mystery team. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, G2, went from probably the easiest opponent to face to the literal hardest opponent to face in the tournament at the same. Like, it's kind of crazy that they went from one of the easiest to one of the hardest. And we're just gonna have to see how they do against one of the weird choices, Weibo Gaming. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know what to expect from Weibo still, and that's the problem. If Weibo Gaming can show something, that really would just, I guess, not shock me, but it would be something. Because right now it is just, ugh. I mean, they have hooked up. I remember that, yes. The double ADC was pretty nice, but they drafted Jack, so it was kind of screwed. And then they beat Team Liquid, so I don't really care. Nidalee taken away from Tarzan. We've seen Nidalee taken away from very specific junglers, and I don't think Tarzan was one of them. Canyon was one. It didn't help. As Broken Blade insta-locking Hansama's Kalista. Hansama's Kalista. Hansama's? I added an extra S in there, I know. Where the hell is Weibo going to go with this play? Because Ashe is unavailable, so they really wanted it. Okay. I mean, Ashe is a ban you always throw anyways, but the fact that they got rid of it kind of does tell me that they wanted the Kalista a little bit. They were leaning towards it, and we're going to see a Jhin. And Jhin has been struggling as of recent. Jhin opened the tournament so strongly, and it has been shut down, like, repeatedly now. And it's just, is the draft usually having to go to the mid lane carry, and it depends on the mid and top lane carries at that point additionally, because Jin's just going to supply extra damage at that point, because he's not bursting down anyone. There's like at least two tanks per game now, and Jhin cannot burst through them. And something like a Rumble is really good, it can help get through that, and that does actually open the opportunity for Weibo to go for their favorite thing in the world, double ADC comps. They could draft a Jhin for execute damage, and they could draft something like a Lucian or a Tristana for consistent damage, and honestly, another double AD comp would go crazy here for Weibo. I don't think it's the right play, but it would be interesting to see them go for it. It's just always interesting to see where Weibo go, as that's going to be Galio top. Now, we've seen it fail miserably. We saw it fail miserably 2 days ago now. PSG Talon drafting Aja his Rumble once again after Mad Lions let it through. Mirwin takes the Galio and gets clapped. That is an early Rel. It's not a bad draft. Usually you just don't see Rel this early, but they know that they're going to lose it if Weibo get it in rotation. So they do have to take it. Yeah, Galio got just destroyed. Where is it? Mirwin could not play the game. Aja just did not care about him at all. He just killed him. And I think GT... Oh, they're going to match the support pick. Okay. So decent team fight angle so far, but right now it's very single target. So single target oriented. There's Chikowa. Hello, Chikowa. But it's very single target oriented, and I'm not a fan of that just yet. With someone like a Rumble, you kind of want that ability to go multi-man lockdown, which is what the Realm would have done, obviously, and that's kind of what they were hoping for. They see Galio, Rel, and they think, yep, gotta get rid of Yasuo, because that is 2 Airborns, and that is a lot of potential for Yasuo to kick ass in a game. I don't know what G2's gonna go for in mid lane here. They want an AP champ still, because Galio isn't going to go full AP. He's going to be a support, mostly a supportive champion. Oh, yeah, the one Galio win, if you're wondering, because I mentioned the Galio loss. The one Galio win is Scout against Damwon in game number 2. Was it game number 1? It was game number... Obviously, it was game number 1 or 2. It was game number 2. It was a really... It was a really good pick. They got Showmaker onto the Ahri, and they said, okay, we're going to put you into Galio. By taken away from Yike, another one of his most played champions on the season. I think overall one of his most played champions throughout his short Yes, it's only his, I believe, second year in the league, but still one of his most played. He's been no, this was this is his early days, and then his 2-year pro career, but 4-year overall. Lucian take it away from Xiaohu. They remember how it kind of started to take over the game against Genji, but it didn't. Didn't quite get there. They were triple AD, so it's really easy to counter them, actually. There were 3 Randuins built in that game, and that was cooking. And they're going to save counterpick for mid lane. That's going to be Tarzan's Maokai locked in. And it's going to have to be a blind here. G2 have put themselves in a really flexible position, which is the good thing. And Yike has been practicing this. G2 have been playing, a lot of teams have been picking up the Shyvana. I don't think any team has been trying Shiv more than G2 has. But they're going to go for the Ori Nocturne, and that is really strong. That is the team fight setup that they need. They pull everybody in, they click on the Nocturne with the Galio ulti, and that is a big engaged threat. We've pretty much exclusively seen Nocturne as a side. Yeah, we're going to see Tristana probably, but we've pretty much exclusively seen Nocturne as a pairing with Orianna this Worlds. Occasionally, in the past, we would see him on his own. He was kind of strong anyways, so teams would log him in. But this year has been exclusively Nocturne Orianna year. Because it is such a good combo if you can execute it, and G2 can execute it. And they have also one of the best Orianna players probably in the league in the world right now, I guess, technically. We're just getting to see how they execute. Weibo have a good draft here. They don't have a lot of lockdown that's super consistent. They have Leona, and that is it. And Tarzan, the beginning of Tarzan's combo, that isn't Nature's Grasp, because Nature's Grasp is kind of inconsistent to hit sometimes. So it is I need to see Weibo figure out how they're going to play this besides team fights. Because if they just go for team fights, G2 is going to win every time, because the team fights are going to become overwhelming for them once they get their hands on the Nocturne Orianna combo, and they obviously can't afford to let G2 just take over the game like that. So we'll have to see what they do here. Now, the home team versus the traveling LPL fans. They're going to be cheering them on. LPL fighting. Weibo Gaming fighting. As it is time for the final game of the day in the final best of 1 of the World Championships. I like both of the drafts. It's just going to be down to a matter of execution, because I know G2 can execute this. I don't know how Weibo are going to execute this consistently. But they have a really, they still have good fight. It's just a matter of how are they going to execute this as best they can. 11th best, wow. Making LPL finals was really advantageous to their ranking. And doesn't seem to be a swap. Hans is not really close enough to really swap out, and it would be really silly for them to swap, because they drafted this Galio just to punish Breathe in this laning phase. And then good draft from Weibo to avoid as much AP as possible. Pretty much drafting Rumble so they could have a flexible option, and then allow them to get that double ADC going. If I did say they weren't going to swap because they want to keep the Galio there, but if Weibo wanted to initiate the swap, they could have. I don't see the angle where they get away with initiating the swamp. The swamp, not the swamp. It would just be way too... It's just way more beneficial to have Breathe just farm. As, yeah, Caps wins. And again, I just want to remind EULCS couldn't compete with China. As there's a quick trade coming out, Mickey going to be the worst for wear of all 3. Crisp taking a good amount though. As there's the flick back. Have Weibo already overplayed? They haven't. They're able to trade it back, but Crisp is still lower health. When people say that the EUL, like Europe can compete with the LPL, they mean G2. They mean G2 can compete with the LPL. As Xiaohu going to get a really nice trade on the Caps. Caps can't really do anything about it. He has to spend his first 2 spells on offensive. Can't get the shield with the extra, like, it's 5 extra. It's like 10. Is it even 10 resistance on the protect? It's really not that much. It is not that much. As there's the jump in onto broken or onto breathe for broken blade, and that's just consistently what it's gonna be. 6, yeah. And the thing is, without the overheat, breathe is in a really bad position, and that is how you play it. Mirwin, witness it from your brethren. That is how you play AP Galio or MR Galio into the Rumble, not the garbage you played. And breathe falls first in this game, and this is a pivotal game. As Light gonna get locked down. Icky has the resistances. Hansama's untouched. This is such a tough position for Weibo Gaming to play in laning phase because they can't get Hansama locked. They can't really lock him down. They can't really do anything to him. And it's not much of an answer they have available to them. Meanwhile, G2 are just going to be able to build advantages everywhere on the Rift right now. As they actually find the lockdown, they'll get the root, but Hansama's able to run away. Tarzan not going to go flash for flash. There it is. Crisp flashes in, and it's going to be Tarzan picking that one up. They want no chances taken as Light was reloading. Hans wanted to finish that wave off, and he's going to pay the price for it. As Weibo Gaming will punch right back and answer. And bot lane's lead has just dissolved. As Xiaohu spot out Yike. There's nothing for Yike to steal that he's close to. Now where do G2 go from here? Because their lead's in top lane. As, yeah, Broken Blade's just able to do this. This is how you play it. I don't know why Mirwin had so much trouble doing this. Yeah, I don't know, man. And then Scout does it perfectly. Like, Scout plays it so perfectly. Did Mirwin... Was that really Mirwin? Was Mirwin just inting? No, he didn't brief his build that badly. He's couldn't do anything. We're hitting 6s on mid lane. We should be hitting 6s on the top lane soon as well. And... oh my god, I'm tired. It is. Too damn early for this, but... it's always too damn early for this. Broken Blade just bullying in this top lane right now. Doesn't even need... he's such a small shield right now. It's crisp. It's going to position a bit more aggressively. And Tarzan going to grab this early dragon as the bot lane pressure if he needs to get some assistance, as it's just going to be straight grub trade. We've seen this so many times. It's not even really that big of a deal. Such a norm that it just is every day now. It's an everyday for us. Doesn't need a smite. He's going to save it for camp so we can speed his clear up a little bit. Hans has been dodging a lot of these deadly flourishes. The only one he's been the only one he's gotten hit by is the one he was forced to tank. So he's been chilling. G2 still 500 gold ahead for now. Off of farming. 5 CS ahead to give them the 500 gold lead. And then about about a wave ahead in mid lane to mitigate that bot lane disadvantage. It's gonna float. Actually, it's climbing to 1,000. Oh, Jin reset. Light reset. That's why. With the resets coming through, the CS does tend to fluctuate, so the lead will flow between like the maximum and then just it's gonna drop back down. But it is an unofficial 1,000 gold lead. Just that it immediately is going to disappear when light catches a wave. As Crisp is up here, he's looking. Mickey's also here, but Mickey's spotted out. They don't know Crisp is here just yet. As Xiaohu is just dodging these barely. X Flash used to get back though, so positioning out, and it's just gonna be they're leaving. There's nothing to fight over up here. They're just covering their mid lanes pretty much. Light has an ultimate, Han Sama doesn't. That is the moral of the story. As Mickey has spotted out Crisp. That is it. Single Q. It's barely like it's maybe 40 damage on a good day. We're looking at a slow-paced game here. G2 already have advantage. They don't want to squander it by making stupid plays. They don't really have any reason to press here. It is nothing on the Rift, and they probably don't even need a force for the Grubs to respawn. Unless Weibo really want to press the advantage, like try and get something out of it. Breathe. Going to get locked down again by Broken Blade. He just doesn't have the damage yet to burn through him. Once he gets something like a Leandries or even a Riftmaker if he wants to go that route, it'll be so much easier. But until then, Broken Blade looking. Okay, no, he's looking for a ward. I didn't know if he was looking for play, and I look mid and there's no one there, so I was very confused to say the least. Very, very lost. I'll look into that. Mickey just gonna jump away. No, it never increases range. That's pretty much what I wanted to check. I want to check what he's maxing is. It is going to be Q. Okay, so it's the wave clear, and then the distance is good. Grubs have spawned, and Weibo have brought everybody up. G2 have also brought everybody up. Are we going to see a fight here, or are we going to just see G2 take advantage because they have everything? Both sides have everything and everybody up here right now. And it's only going to need one here for G2. And it's gone. But will Weibo Gaming even try to press an advantage? They won't. It's going to be 5 so far. They're going to try and go for 1 at least. No. Weibo, don't do anything. They just sit back and watch as G2 get the all grubs. And Weibo don't do anything. Note. Very frustrating. And this is just going to be platings in the top side. Again, 6 grubs. They are tearing through that. They'll get the early drink. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. But early Drake is just about to be nullified. What? A Chemtech and for a singular Chemtech Drake is some slow resist. And that is a full turret down. That is a very significant amount of money going into G2. As that is almost a 3,000 gold lead. And everybody's ahead now. From pretty even in the bot lane to completely lopsided now. Weibo Gaming need to find a miracle to already close this gold gap because I can't see them. They're scared of team fighting. They are scared, which is absurd to say that Weibo Gaming are scared of team fights. But they are. They're scared. They can't really afford to go anywhere because they'll get locked down. It's going to be really strong for G2 as they're going to get another turret. The lockdown maybe onto Caps comes through, but there's the hero's entrance. The ult from the Jin not going to do all that much. Nice 4-shot going through, but it is Tarzan getting locked down. The bomb not going to do nearly enough damage. And Weibo Gaming can't get a thing. They thought maybe they could try and force the play here, but they don't. It's so hard to catch people out. They have the Nocturne. They have the Galio. It is tough and very unlikely that you catch someone out completely. Unlike, okay, maybe here. Like Mickey's in the middle of nowhere. But he's on his half still. There's no chase. And G2 are just unironic. Like, I'd say they're able to do whatever they want as a reference to the fact that they are so strong that it's really hard to stop them. But Weibo are actually just letting G2 do what they want here. Like, they are letting G2 just take the grubs. They're scared of engaging on them because if they know that they can turn. And they don't want to do that, but they're not going to take a chance even. And then they let him get that top turret, all platings, because they want this Drake. It's called a trade, but yes. It is not really a good one, and they probably should have tried to not take it. As you're going to get this turret. Yeah, they are. They tank a singular turret shot, and they get that. Zhao going to try and trade in the bot lane. And we'll see if it goes through, but it's not likely. Or, well, not likely, but it is not likely going to do much of anything. It is. G2 sacrificed all their early game advantages, usually, to learn how to play mid-game. They can only know how to play 2 phases of the game at a time, okay? It's the rule of G2. They only know how to play 2 phases. Last year, it was early game and late game. And they got away with it because they were just pretty much skill gapping everyone in the LEC. And then when they went internationally, they got smoked because they couldn't control the late game when they didn't have a mid game. Now, it's apparently they learned how to play mid game, but they forgot how to play early game for quite some time. So it was very funny coming into the season. For coming into spring split, everyone was asking, does G2 know, or I guess it was winter split in LEC, does G2 know how to play the mid game? The answer was yes. They also almost lost their first game of the season and several games throughout the season because their early game was really ugly. It was so weird that they have this like mystical power to only be able to play 2 phases of the game. They know late game because late game is like the easy part. Late game is really the easy part of the game because it is just positioning and fighting, and G2 could do that. But they can only know one of early or one of mid. They can't do both. This might be... We'll see if this is the first game where they can get both. As there's the engage I was waiting for. Crisp is gone. And there's the paranoia coming through. It's onto Zhao. Who can he get the chase down? There's no jump. He blocks the buster shot with the shield. Tarzan engaging with the equalizer down. Caps is going to fall to Tarzan, though. And Mickey trying to keep this going here, but he's on light. But Hansama's back now. Light has won. There's another for Broken Blade. Or for Yike, actually. He sacrifices himself. And now opening the curtains. He needs to hit all these. He finds Ansama and Light in a single fell swoop. 3-0, and it's the mid game. It's the mid game. G2 are embracing last year's form. They play good early game, and they forgot what a mid game. This starts off so well. They commit quite a bit for Crisp, though. But then they splinter is the issue. They splinter, and they're jumping in onto Tarzan. And then they're just kind of conga lining as well, which is a problem. They're not going in onto Breathe or like they're going in onto Tarzan, the tanky one. Not very tanky, but tanky. Early Drakes aren't going to matter as G2 still grab the Cloud Drake despite all this, but it is not clean. Decidedly not clean. They faltered back down to 2,000 gold advantage. So Weibo have found a singular fight. And now they need to do that again. Because it's not just going to be one. It is going to be a long, long battle, a long climb to the top if Weibo Gaming are really legit and too legit to quit or something. I don't know. I can't think of anything. But also, G2, was that just a flash in the pan? We've seen plenty of games where a team gives up a massive team fight and it was just a one-time thing. It was one-off. It was one play. But G2 have a history of this, so I'm skeptical to say the least. Perfect. This is good macro from, I was going to say LNG. No lie. Weibo Gaming. Gonna shove in this bot wave. There's not really anything they can take right now. It's just gonna be moving G2 around the map for quite a bit as the mid laners are just gonna farm, or well, the bot laners are gonna farm in mid as they are the focus, and it's still just barely a gold lead for Light. Hardly a gold lead. Can't really call it that. It is shockingly close for a team that is 2,000 gold. Like, this is closer than I thought it is, and it closer than it probably should be. It feels like G2 should just be in control of this game, but they somehow have lost it at some point. It's still very much obviously in their favor and winnable. But this should be, given how this early game went, not even a competition. Rift Herald's going down into that bot lane, it seems. I think that was an auto spawn. Might have been strategic. I don't know. Yahoo trying to try and just blow up this turret. He doesn't have any attack speed quite yet. And this should just crash and be a threat. They're just going to let it get that. The turret survives with barely any health, and the minion's going to siege it. Xiaohu going to pick up a solo turret's worth of gold. A kill's worth of gold, actually. I forgot turrets count for that much. I feel like that's nerfed now. It might be. It probably isn't. It's been one patch. It's definitely not nerfed that much. It's just going to be another farming session until about a minute and a half from now, unless someone wants to rush Baron, which we've seen some Baron rushes. Some of them have worked. Some of them were really bad. So probably shouldn't force Baron. G2 has decent Baron damage. Just Callista's 2 items. That's not really enough yet. And you have a Jhin. You're not doing it. That's all you need to know. Now we're going to get the Flicker Blades. So their client, they have something. It's just, we're going to need to see them pull another team fight out. And, okay, they could probably do it, honestly. But it is up to G2. G2 are still dictating the pace of this game, but Weibo are starting to claw back that control. They just need to move G2 around this map if they want anything. As they have Breathe pushing out bot lane and Zhao pushing in top lane. Okay, that was, yeah, just... If they want to get this Drake, they need to start pushing in this bot side. But G2 are positioning around Baron, so they can't really afford to do anything, as that's not going to connect. And that is a Solar Flare burn. They have not been connecting today. Breathe? Breathe? Okay. Sure. That teleport was interesting, to say the least, considering the ulti didn't even get close to connecting. As... What are they doing? No, okay. They just started. And it will just be Ansama putting a couple spears in the dragon. But that was they're trying to force G2 off Baron, or off of Drake, and it's not happening. Chris is going to get the stun as the lockdown onto Yike. But there's no follow-up there quite yet. The shockwave goes through, but Caps is going to fall. Can the paranoia even be of value? Mickey falls as well, and now Weibo have the potential. They can go for Baron if they so choose, and they will. No paranoia. They need to blitz this base right now. G2 need to get as much of this turret as they can, as there's no wave to stop them. They'll get 2 tier 2s, and that is not a terrible trade. G2 make a good play off of a bad situation. They lost 2 members, and they just make the correct call. They say, we have no paranoia. There's no reason for us to die in the Baron pit. How do they get Yike here? They shouldn't, but Crisp is not respecting. And then Tarzan flash W's right on top of Caps. And then does all this damage coming through. And a really bad play. They make the best of it, but still gave over a Baron buff. And a lot of gold. See, just that last fight alone, a lot of damage coming out from Breathe. And Light. Like, can't disrespect Light. But Weibo need to start pushing, because they have 2 turrets taken. And G2 are up to their base on 2 lanes. Zhao's going to go for the top lane here. So Weibo going to have to just keep pushing. But the pressure from Zhao should be quite a lot. That might force G2 to answer him entirely. And just... No, they're just leaving him for now, as they're going to find Breathe. He's going to have to flash the second he gets out, in good flash. Zhao will get that turret. They rotate no one down there. They're going to try and win this 2v4, or 4v5. Sorry, 2v4. What? But, okay, Zhao's backing off now. And Tarzan going to punch Mickey, as there's the root connecting. The paranoia comes out. They're going to get Breathe. He knows there's no flash. There's the Galio engage. A Broken Blade finds a kill. He's into everybody. Mickey will survive for now. Broken Blade. Stasis is going to keep him alive. Light will finally find the shot to kill off the support. Tarzan going to get taunted. And Light is trying to find the damage. He doesn't have anything. He is running away. He's going to dodge the teleport coming in. He needs to find the shots. But the auto from Caps is enough. Xiaohu doesn't have a hero play in him. Does he? He finds one, but it's not going to be nearly enough. It's the ace for G2. It is chaotic. It is not clean at all. But they find the fight. And oh my goodness. This starts... Weibo are scattered right now. They're trying to engage onto Mickey, but Breathe is nowhere near. And so they're just going to jump onto him. They know they can get him down easily, and they do. And then Broken Blade, flash, taunt, airborne is phenomenal. Mickey survives for so long. That's just going to buy more time, because Light is going to try and kill him off. And then there's so much damage coming out from Light here, but it is just not enough. He's going to hit a lot. But he can't go over the Blast Cone either, because Broken Blade's right there waiting. He's going to dodge away from this. Then, oh my goodness, that spear just barely connects. It is so important that that spear hits. Hansama saves the play. After Broken Blade wins him the first half of the fight, Hans saves the fight. If that Pierce doesn't connect, we might have seen Light get another kill or two with Jiahu coming in. That could have been disastrous. That could have been game-changing for Weibo. But G2, they don't need to worry about it. Hansama clutches up, and they put a damper on any plans that Weibo had off of that play. And that is really good. Again, it's kind of a hodgepodge team. Like, they've been playing together for a year. But this really is a bunch of lads. Like, this is the bunch of lads type team. Meanwhile, G2 have been the same unit for 2 years now. As they're going to jump in onto Broken Blade. He's going to get his ulti canceled. He tried to jump out to safety. He's going to go golden in this really sick pose. And the shutdown comes through with the curtain call. They haven't even been together the whole year? Wait, what? We'll get there when we get there. As Drake started by G2, this should be a pretty easy Cloud Soul point for them. Wow, this isn't even the same. Like, this is... They replaced half of the roster halfway through the year. So, yeah. This team has not been playing together for very long, to say the least. $2,000 ahead. 1,500 ahead right now. So, it is a little bit of an issue for Weibo as Tarzan gets caught out here. And there's the jump going down. And now on to Light. It is a lockdown. He's going to be able to escape for now. And he will be able to escape the whole time. Equalizer went down, but it's not doing a ton of damage yet. Right there, the shot. I should remember that. G2. It's a 2 or it's a 1 for nothing. And they could go for the Baron here if they think so, and they will. Baron started up. Are Weibo going to be able to fight here? Now they're going to go for the turret. They'll grab the tier 1 in mid. It is a second Baron for G2 this game. And another misposition from Weibo is going to cost them. And this one might be the nail in the coffin. Because there's not that many more fights they can take. He's in a really bad spot now. This is a 3-item Galio. This is going to be a 3-item Orianna. There it is. 3-item Nocturne. We're looking at nearly a Randuin's... Another Randuin's Callista. After... That's crazy. That's perfect. That is actually awesome. After Pays ran it on day 1 of the World Championships, Hansama finds himself in much the same position. It is time for a Randuin's Omen on Callista. It's really useful into double AD comps. We see it. I don't think frequently we see Randuin's on non-tank champions, but if the situation calls for it, the situation calls for it. Like, Hans already has a lot of damage at his disposal. He might as well grab a crucial, and that's not going to connect. But Tarzan's ulti, not going to connect either. Yike blocks it. Actually, I think it was Mickey blocking it way early, but it's fine. And this is going to be first turret going down. Broken Blade's just waiting. He's going to push in mid. He's lying in wait for any engage to go in. It's not going to happen just yet. Tarzan trying to get this taunt to go off, and they will. The cleanse forced out of Hansama. But this turret is getting real low as G2 will get another inhib turret. Will they get the inhibitor that goes with it? As Crisp gonna get flashing, gonna flash away from the taunt as now the curtains get open. But Mickey has so much health right now, but that's not gonna save him. They need to find the lockdown. The paranoia goes down. Xiao Hu flashing forwards. He's not going to find the kill. He's going to detonate the bomb. The buster shot is not going to do anything. Caps finds the kill. Xiao Hu trying to be the hero. It's not going to pay off. That's a jock shows. We've seen a bit of jock shows on pretty much anyone. We've seen jock shows on a couple non-tank champions, particularly ones who need the extra bulk. I did not expect. I thought it was gonna be red ones. Oh my god. On Sama going jock shows. I don't remember the last Kalista jock shows we've seen. Like, I cannot tell you what it is. And what it's gonna be. And it is all to play for here, as there is the final tier 2 falling. And it should be this inhib going low. Is the solar flare not going to connect again? But there's the root onto Caps. Caps getting jumped on. Mickey forced to run away, but he's engaging. He's going to get a nice ulti setup for Broken Blade. Broken Blade going to get the airborne, but they're going to have to back off after Mickey falls. Xiao Hu trying to go forwards. That's a lot of damage. Backline for Yike. Caps' ulti is huge. It's a double kill now for Hansama. Can he find the rest? There's not a lot of damage left on Weibo Gaming. And Weibo just have to reset here. This is a dangerous situation because now it is going to be this turret falling. And it is inhibitor or Nexus turrets on the fall. Hansama taking a lot of damage from Xiao, but Xiao is just trying to save the game. The buster shot will drag the carries away from the damage. But Broken Blade goes back in. Tarzan is trying to survive, and he won't. It's Broken Blade picking up the kill. One Nexus turret stands, but Crisp is here. But Xiao Hu's gone. Caps going to be able to flash away to safety. Here comes Mickey. Here comes Light. And these bullets aren't going to connect. They only have one target available. It's almost going to kill Broken Blade, but it's not going to matter. Can G2, and they're looking for it. Weibo Gaming need a miracle because here comes Yike, here comes Caps, and they're on to the Nexus. It is all over. G2 keep the dreams of Europe alive, but maybe Breathe as a play in him, and he doesn't. Hansama 7-2, and G2 will finish the job. And it is and it is just disaster at the end there for Weibo Gaming. They really just could never claw their way back into this game. And G2, it is one step away once again for G2 to go to the knockout stage. They haven't been in 4 years. It has been 4 years since G2 have made the knockout stage. They almost made it last year. 2-0. And that is the thing to keep in mind. G2 have not won a best of 3 at Worlds. They have won. They are 1-6 in knockout qualifying matches in the Swiss stage. They did not. They only showed up against BLG, and it was too late for them to pull it back. And they're going to need to clean it up. G2, what are you going to do? Because you got yourself a match sometime in the next 3 or 4 days, or you got 3 or 4 days off, and then you have your matches, and you got at least, you have 2 of them, and you got to win only 2 of those games in one. Like, you just have to win 2 games in one. Can they do it? I don't know. They're playing well. They aren't playing well against really high caliber competition. Weibo's good, but that's a team G2 is favored to win. Like, I need to see them beat a world contender, because Weibo Gaming is not a team people are expecting to win the world championships. They are a team people are expecting to get not even to the knockout stage. Maybe it's a knockouts if they're lucky, but this is a team I need to see perform when it matters. In a best of 3, it doesn't really matter who you're up against. You got to win. This is a team that prides itself and fancies itself a world's contender. And they haven't been one in so long. Every single year, I have to hear how G2's going to win the world championship. And I'm tired of it because they haven't shown any of it in 5 years. Is this the year? I don't know. They'll have to prove it. And for Weibo, it is a disappointing defeat. There were moments in the game where you thought you could win it, but you couldn't. And they're just going to have to clean it up. They really were scared to fight for so long. And then when they finally got their confidence to fight, they blundered about 2 or 3 fights later. So they need to figure it out here, because they're in the elimination matches now, and there's no room for blunders down there. You got a best of 3 in some amount of days. Practice, come back, figure out who you're facing, and you can only play who's ahead of you. So it's not going to get any easier, because all these teams, they want to win, and none of them want to go home. So Weibo's got their work cut out for them. And with that, it is all done. No more best of 1s. It is all best of series for the rest of the World Championships. We got all the best of 3s. We got so many best of 3s ahead of us. We got like 5 days of them ahead of us. Or 4 days ahead of the... We got 9 best of 3s. There we go. That's the number. And then we got all of the playoffs. All of the knockout bracket to determine our world champion. And that is so far in the future from now that it is just unthinkable to be there for quite some time. But... saw, can I remember? It was, oh my god, I can't remember the first game of the day. I'm screwed. Oh my god. Not BLG. They beat BLG. Oh my god, I cannot remember it. Why can't I remember it? Should. God damn it. I'm gonna have to check. I cannot remember who won the first game of the day for some reason. Not that team. Not that team. Was it Top? Top Esports. I thought... No, T1 won the second. Sorry. Top Esports, T1, FlyQuest, and G2 win on day 4. And that means they have a shot at advancing. And they have another one after that in case it goes awry. Otherwise, got a lot of 1 and 2 teams. And tomorrow's the 0 and 2 team. So we'll see who is the first and second to go home from the World Championships Swiss stage. I am Box Kimchi. This has been the Kimchi Cast. I will see you tomorrow for the elimination matches.